When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com. Ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most.
All right, welcome back. Sorry, had some technical difficulties. Again, if you, when we showed up about an hour ago, that field behind us was covered completely in snow. Some crews, some Section 6 are doing a great job clearing it up. We have about the sidelines, the hash marks all cleared up. You can kind of see the end zones. So they're working on that field right now. But that certainly is going to be a factor again. Class C game set to kick off about 15 minutes ago. Minutes or so between Medina and Fredonia. I'm joined right now by Kyrie Demos, Tim Chifa, and Frank Wolf down on the end. And guys, before we get into the game itself, we have to talk about the weather and what it means for the different positions. Tim, I'll start with you. You played the quarterback position. What does it mean for these guys? Two quarterbacks are going at it, Nick Whitfield and Xander Payne in this first game.
Well, believe it or not, there's a few more things that are very important now. Believe it or not, you're gonna be surprised what I'm gonna say. A ball boy is extremely important in a game like this. Okay, it's not like the NFL where there's dozens of coaches and staff just funneling in balls. They probably have maybe 3 balls that they use, and it is crucial to keep these balls dry the best that they can. So that brings these little kids that you have, come to practice. They have a big part of this game, believe it or not, which sounds ridiculous. I get that, trust me. But to answer your question, as far as the weather, I think this is actually more difficult for the defense than it is the offense. The offense, they know where they're going. Okay, so the cutting and the sliding from a defensive standpoint makes it much more difficult. And look for the offense. For quick hitters. You're not going to take many shots downfield. Throw the ball 20, 30 yards downfield. But you're going to look for swing passes and screens where you can make quick cuts, and the defenders are going to be slipping all over the place.
Kyrie, you played lineman at Lockport. You also you were at a time at UB and St. John Fisher. From a lineman's perspective, what changes for you guys in the trenches?
Honestly, going off of Tim's point, it's very, very similar. Offense, I played offensive line. So for me, I feel as though this is a game where offensive line and they have an advantage. You're getting those defensive linemen on their heels. And, I would say in a game where it's a little bit rainier, I think that is a game that puts everything in a little bit more of a level playing field. Whereas the snow, I think it does play more so into the hands of the offense. But, I think you really just bear down in a game like this. You're going to have to run the ball to win. You're going to have to, use the play action and, like you mentioned as well, Tim, being able to get the ball out quickly. But it's really going to be a game that's won in the trenches because, games like these, it's not going to be as high flying as wide open as we traditionally see throughout the regular season.
How much more of an advantage would you say it is, especially in a game like this, for an offensive line in comparison to a defensive line, because you know where you're going?
For sure.
We were talking a minute ago before we went on there about the slickness of the field itself. Right. And I feel like when you know where you're going, obviously it's an advantage no matter what the field is, but especially on a field like this, you're getting the defense on your heels right from the get-go.
Most definitely. I completely agree with that. Just for the fact that, like you mentioned, where you're going, but also too, the fact that you really can dictate things, whether you run things with pace, whether you slow it down, you can really control the defense. And I like the aspect of that for Medina specifically because they are a run heavy team. They have been able to exploit some defenses in the passing game, but they have so many different guys that they can get to the ball to in the running game with a variant of options. So
by committee also.
Absolutely.
Usually, teams by the time, by the time we get to this point, usually there's like a superstar running back at this point. You look at Medina's rushing, and it is definitely rushing by committee, Frank.
It is, and we saw Francis and I as we were driving up in this storm. Kyrie, you probably had the same one.
Oh, yeah.
And Tim, I know you were right behind us. We were actually behind that Medina bus for a little while, and then we, kind of got in front of them. They're excited. Definitely a running back by committee, Tim. But that is an excited bunch. I went into their locker room before the game, and they were, but they're excited. But they're here to do a job.
For sure.
They're ready to go. I talked to Coach Eric Valley before the game. And it was a very, very business-like approach by these gentlemen that are getting ready to play in another Section 6 final.
Mhm.
Fredonia hasn't been here in a while.
Right.
Not just the stadium, but they haven't been in this game in a while.
Right.
2 undefeated teams. Does Medina stick to what's worked, or do they make major adjustments because of the weather? They have the athletes.
Well, they don't need to make major adjustments. I say both about these teams. They're pretty balanced, especially Medina. They have a bunch of guys who can run the ball. Xander Payne is a great thrower of the football. He broke a school record for touchdowns in a season for Medina. So this team can do it both ways for sure. So I don't know if much needs to change. I think it's more play call selection versus changing the entire offense.
I think it's more of adjusting on the fly, and what teams and what coaches are able to adjust. But you talk about these two teams, at least on paper, all right, the dominance that these two teams have had. Medina has outscored their opponents 418 to 93, a difference of 335 points. That is ridiculous. All right. And then not far behind, Fredonia, 341 to 143, a difference of 198. These two teams are averaging 41 points and 34 points a game. I wouldn't change much. You know what I mean? I think the adjustments have to go on the fly. And if it's not working, now I do think your playbook offensively probably shrinks a little bit just because of the weather.
Mhm.
So I don't think you can go 5 wide out every single play, the greatest show on turf type that Medina likes to run. But let's call it what it is. The game plan for Medina is you have to stop Nick Whitfield. This kid's a beast. All right. He is all over the place. He is the perfect, if you're going to draw a quarterback,
Mhm.
say draw him, right?
Dual threat.
I mean, 6'5", 235 pounds. Kid's a beast, has a rocket arm, very smart, the leader on the field. His stats are off the charts, 1,700 yards passing with 16 touchdowns. He also rushed for 630 yards and another 12 touchdowns. The kid's an absolute beast.
Absolutely. And it's crazy to think, this is a game where, to be honest, coming into the weekend, I said I really thought this was the best quarterback matchup between Xander Payne and Nick Whitfield, and it really might be a run-heavy game.
Yeah,
on both sides. But I think on both sides, one guy that I'm really looking forward to watching is Matthew Lauder from Fredonia. He's been Nick Whitfield's running mate this season. He has over 1,000 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns of his own on the ground, and then he's also defensively can play a little linebacker. 128 tackles. That is unbelievable. And on the flip side, he's going to see a lot of Noah Skinner. Now,
Yeah.
Iverson Poole is a very speedy guy. He's the team leader in touchdowns at the moment, but Skinner's the thumper. He's the thunder to the lightning and, playing that fullback position, but he also is the leading tackler for the team on defense as well. So he's going to be all in the mix for Medina.
And I think that's the thing you have to realize. That's a great point that you put, especially in the smaller schools like, Class C that we're seeing. Most of these guys play both ways,
Mhm.
So you're going to see the superstar on offense is also the superstar on defense. You don't see it as much in, when you get to the, the double A's where Lancaster's got, 55 players on the team, but these guys only have, 20, 25, 27 guys on the roster, some of them being sophomores and freshmen. So the junior seniors, they're going to play both ways, including special teams also.
This game to me is going to be that turnover battle. There's a good chance you're going to see a couple of sloppy plays. It's look what we're playing in. The pros fumbling this all the time.
Mhm.
We're talking high school football here. So the turnover battle is going to be huge. Who can protect the football? The other thing is drive starts. I always harp on that. But what's the kicking game going to be like today? Are you going to be going for it on 4th down inside your 40? Do you do that today? Do you fool around with that in this type of weather? Do you try those special teams plays? You got 2 good kicking teams too. Pretty good special teams plays. Not only kicking, but also the return game's pretty solid
For sure.
for both teams. Both teams have return kicks.
Yeah, one of the things, Francis, I wanted to bring up to you is you look at both these teams, and you brought this up yesterday. Neither team has had a ton of adversity.
Well, Fredonia has had a lot more.
A few more. But there's a lot of blowouts there too. So who's gonna react when some adversity happens? Which quarterback? I think these are probably two of the best 5 to 7 quarterbacks in Western New York, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Another one's playing in the second game too.
Oh yeah.
But which one of these leaders is going to step up when their team falls behind, which they haven't done too often, and be a little bit different than what they had to be all season, and take on a different role of having some adversity.
And going off a point that Frank brought up, you know, since the calendar turned to 2021, Medina has not lost. They are 16-0, winning a sectional championship in the spring, going 6-0 then. And then on the flip side of that, Fredonia, you know, being the up and comer, the new kids on the block, you know, those two motivational factors I think have been the driving forces for these teams. So it's really going to come to a head in this matchup.
I just love that. When we were talking just to Medina, I love this Medina offense. You were talking about Noah Skinner. The play that really I think is the staple of this offense is that offset. When Medina gets in that offset eye, then the Skinner and fullback, Iverson Poole at tailback, and they kind of have that fake toss to Poole, and then that inside handoff going the other way to Skinner. That to me is the bread and butter of this offense. And I think, you know, especially you talk about defenses reacting. That's a play that could really give Fredonia some trouble. I did notice. I do want to mention you can't. I know you can't see it out there. Fredonia is in white, and now it's snowing again. Is that any advantage? Is that going to make things a little more difficult for Payne seeing defenders, or do you think is that not a big issue on the field? Can you see those guys in front of you pretty well?
I don't think it will be at this point in the season. Maybe it was the first couple of games, but I don't think at this point. And you know, these are somewhat veteran quarterbacks at this point. So no, I don't think that'll be a huge issue. But one of the things I wanted to mention also, Francis, these are also not just two teams, but two towns that love their team. You know, I did a game for the Character Award at Medina versus Albion. It's about as close to what we have in Western New York as like a Friday Night Lights atmosphere. I mean, the whole town comes out. There's a line around the gate to get in, you know, and Fredonia is the same way. So I think we're going to see a great crowd, probably some student body, you know, supporting their teams, and you know, two undefeated teams. What more can you ask for?
All right. Thank you, Tim. All right, they're playing the national anthem right now, so we're going to get ready to send it over. I believe we have Jack Cruiser and Tom Prince is on the call of this game. Again, it's Medina versus Fredonia, two undefeated teams. Reminder here, these teams both played Akron, both blowouts, but I'll say Medina had an early lead on Akron where Fredonia needed some time in order to take care of the Tigers in that later game. So at that point, thanks for tuning into our pregame show for Frank Wolf, Tim Chifa, Kyrie Demos. We're going to take a quick break, and coming up next, it'll be Jack Cruiser and Tom Prince on the call of the Section 6 Class C Championship from Highmark Stadium.
34 degrees and snowing. You're watching WesternNewYorkAthletics.com. We thank you for tuning in on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as our website.
Okay, Jack, just so you know, we did have audio difficulties right now. So we now are up and running. You should hear our sound. We apologize. We had some audio difficulties right there. We've got up and running. So we'll get you squared away as to what we talked about here.
Punt from Fredonia will take a Fredonia bounce and roll all the way inside Medina territory. So 2 drives, no score, 6:32 remaining in quarter number 1. We saw Medina on the ground the entire way as they were 4 yards away from a touchdown from the run of Greg Thompson. His first handoff on the day, took it around the outside, gets punched away at the 4-yard line. Ball comes out. It's recovered by Fredonia. However, they pick up 1 first down and nothing else. A 3-and-out after that. And here we stand with a 1st and 10 for Medina at their own 43-yard line.
So we can see it's slick out there. It's going to be tough to hold on the ball. The difference in this game could be the turnover game right now, early on what we're seeing in this game.
That fumble forced, I didn't get a number on it from the Fredonia Hillbilly, but it was 1 defender to beat for Thompson. He couldn't beat him, and the defender made the smart play going for the ball in these conditions. Now in shotgun is Xander Payne. Takes the snap, looks right, throws over the middle. It's tipped at the line. Simon Davis there to make the play, and it falls incomplete. 2nd and 10.
But, both teams not afraid to throw in this, so you can see that. So we are going to see both teams do it. And like we talked about, we didn't get a chance. Like I said before, you've got 2 quarterbacks here that can sling the ball. When you equate to it, right, there are 2 baseball pitchers that have both thrown mid to upper 80s as a fastball. So it just shows how good both these quarterbacks are.
Snap to Payne. Hands off to the left for Skinner. He fights for 1. Flag is down on the far sideline. Making the tackle is Simon Davis. See, in between plays to the left of your screen of the visual, we've got some Section 6 people shoveling the sidelines and the yard markers. Penalty will be against Medina. It'll back them up after the pickup on the run. And we'll see where they mark it off. So as we mentioned in the pregame, didn't get a chance to hear it. We'll say it again. So many weapons for both these squads. For Medina, they've got weapons all over their offense in Poole, Skinner, Rim, Thompson, and Caccini. Those guys all making plays so far in this one. And for the Hillbillies, they're led by a could-be D1 quarterback in Nick Whitfield Jr., of course, star baseball player for the Hillbillies. 2nd down and 16 from the 37. Handoff up the middle, fighting for yards is Arnold. He'll get about 5 back.
Looked like on the tackle was number 24, Devon McCall, the senior 6 foot, 170-pounder right there.
Devon McCall, 70 tackles on the year, a player for this Fredonia squad, both on offense and defense, that is not unfamiliar with making big-time plays. 3rd down here for the Mustangs. 3rd and 13 at their own 40-yard line. Under center is Payne. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right. Pressure on him. Will throw. It'll be... Well, it was ruled incomplete. There it was. It was a short pass that got tipped. And it was McCall, I believe, in coverage on that one as well. Almost had the pick. Fredonia fans in front of us thought that he had it as well. However, it falls incomplete, and we've got another 4th down. 4th and 12 here.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he actually did pick it, and then it popped out at the very end, and then he said that he didn't control it, or whether it actually hit the ground. It's tough to tell, really, at the angle that we were at right here.
Well, Medina has the punt unit out there. Snap will go way beyond the punter, but we've got a whistle that blew the play dead. It'll be against Medina. They'll back him up even more on 4th down.
Actually, thank God for the whistle there, right? That could have been a really bad play. as you saw the snap really go awry, you don't know if that snap went awry because they heard the whistle. I mean, anything can happen right there. But boy, the elements are going to absolutely have an impact in this game. And so far, turnovers have already come into play.
Snap on the ground, handled by the punter. He gets it away. Joe Caccini punting it to the left sideline. It'll be downed inside Fredonia territory. We've seen 2 botched snaps so far that haven't resulted in anything because the whistle blew before the play started. We saw it in the end zone with Nick Whitfield not able to handle a snap on the ground, then their one on the ground. So it could be a game of turnovers, as you said before.
Cicchini does a good job of making sure, stay calm right there, right? Stay calm, get it off, make sure we've got no issues right there. Listen, it's also a third baseman on the baseball field. I've seen him scoop up a lot of stuff over at the hot corner, and he has the hot corner right there as that ball actually comes out and squibbles to him.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Hillbillies at their own 36-yard line. Whitfield in shotgun with Lauder to his left. 2 wide stacked on the far sideline and 2 stacked on the near sideline for the Hillbillies. Snap to Whitfield. He'll carry it himself up the left side, finds a hole in the offensive line, and finally is tripped up and taken down by the Medina Mustangs, not before a pickup of around 8. Nick Whitfield, not afraid to get it done on the ground. He's got 12 touchdowns on the ground on the season, 631 yards on 72 carries entering today. They get to the line again, same formation for Fredonia. Snap into the hands of Whitfield. He ducks it and runs again, met by the Medina D-line. Getting in there first looked to be number 52 in Chris Johnson.
That's going to be right at the line of, right at the first down marker, too. They gave it to him, so it will be a first down.
1st and 10 for Fredonia as they sit across the 45-yard line, just around there. Still no score, 4:16 to go in the first quarter of play. It's Section 6 Class C Championship football from Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. You're watching Western New York Athletics. They separate the receivers to the right side of the field. Now the handoff will go to Lauder. He'll run left, finds a hole in the O-line, and finally is taken down beyond the first down marker. Pickup of 11 for Matt Lauder.
Jack, that hole opened up nice. Did you see that? He was able to run right through that. Today is a day we talk about the offensive line and the importance of being able to run the ball behind them. But today could even be even more important because you do need that hole because of how slippery your footing is out there today. You got to be able to get some sort of advantage.
There we saw Lauder follow the left tackle, the senior 6'6", 315, Sean Farnham. Now they go back to stacked receivers on each side. Lauder still in the backfield. Shotgun snap, handoff to Lauder up the middle of the field. He's met there. Skinner's there on the tackle, as well as a host of Medinas that gang tackle him after a pickup of around 3. It'll be 2nd down.
Slowing down. This is right now probably the weakest we've seen the snow so far since we've gotten here.
Maybe look for a pass through the air potentially. Take a shot here on 2nd and long. Safety's playing way up, all within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. And with the coupled receivers on each side, we look to see how Fredonia attacks Medina here, standing at the 38-yard line. Same formation, shotgun snap, handled and tucked by Whitfield. He tries to find the hole. He's met there by the Medina D-line. Rashawn Bloom was there as well, making the tackle. And it'll bring up another crucial 3rd down here. 3rd and 3 at the 35-yard line. Three to the right for Fredonia, 1 to the left, Lauder in the backfield. Shotgun formation for Whitfield Jr. Takes a snap. It's on the ground. He picks it up, fakes the handoff to Lauder, and then he is met in the backfield. Medina wasn't fooled. As the bad snap, we've seen it a couple times now, finally pays a difference. Medina's in the backfield quickly.
In on the tackle right there.
Giacchini was there along with Greg Thompson, who's been all over the ball early here on this second drive for Fredonia. It'll bring up another 4th down for the Hillbillies. This one a 4th and 9 at the 40-yard line. As we see the Section 6 folks clearing off the yard markers in the red zone. Fredonia looking to punt this one away with Owen Rush. And he'll do so with a high floater. This is going to be batted down by McCall. And this will be inside the 10-yard line, down around the 7. Lauder will down it. A nice special teams play in a game like this. Special teams means so much in field position. And Fredonia, who started a few drives ago at their own 5-yard line, now has Medina pinned inside their own 10. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. No snow coming down now, just on the field as we look to see how Medina will attack this Hillbilly defense. Look for the speedster in Jaron Rim. He's got 31 receptions on the year, leads the team in receptions, 400 yards, 7 touchdowns through the air, 4 wide, 2 on each side with 1 in the backfield. Snap to Payne, handoff inside, goes to Skinner. He'll get around the 10-yard line, short pickup for the Mustangs. Jaden Whitfield was there wearing number 50 for Fredonia. Jaden, the senior, standing at 6'2", 260 on that D line. We look to see how Fredonia matches up with the weapons of the Mustangs. Medina will send 2 to each side again. Skinner in the backfield with Payne in shotgun. Snap to Xander Payne, fakes the handoff, tucks it, and carries it himself. Hole opens up beautifully amongst the O-line. Payne's on his feet, and he's inside the 50 to the 45, and he's being chased by Davis. It's a foot race. Xander Payne will finally be taken down at the 19-yard line. What a run for the quarterback from Medina.
Simon Davis saves a touchdown right there. And you don't know if that's going to come into play, right? These conditions, anything can happen. That hustle right there could be big. But, boy, you got to love some of the moves that Payne puts on there, some of the twists and moves, and he gets into open space and does a great job of turning that into a huge run.
We talked about Roosevelt Mitchell on the D-line wearing number 63, the sophomore for Medina. There he was at left tackle, and he formed with Zach Oliver, the senior left guard, to create that hole for Payne all the way back in their own territory. Now they're all the way flip the field at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 as we end the first quarter of play. No score from Highmark Stadium. This is the Section 6 Class C Championships, and we'll throw it down on the field with Sarah Holland.
I'm Sarah Holland, and it is 0-0 here at the end of the first quarter at Highmark Stadium. Somehow the snow came down pretty hard here in the first quarter, but the fans were still rocking it. Today's matchup is the only matchup that we're going to see between 2 unbeaten teams, so we'll see what they can bring in the second quarter. Back to you.
Thanks, Sarah. We're back here from Highmark Stadium, Class C Section 6 Championships. Medina looking to go back-to-back in Class C after winning last year, and we will join you back in quarter number 2 between the Hillbillies and the Mustangs. You're watching Western New York Athletics. We're back. 1st and 10. Handoff to Skinner on the left side. A lot of bodies on the left side there for Medina. Fredonia's D-line gets there as well. Skinner will pick up about 3 on the first rush of the second quarter. No score from Highmark Stadium. Class C, Section 6, 2021 championship between the Mustangs and the Hillbillies. Medina won last year. They beat Southwestern, but again, that game wasn't played at Highmark Stadium. It was in May. It was at Medina. Some may say Mickey Mouse title, not the Mustangs, though, as they ran it back this year, haven't lost since last season. They're 10-0 in their way, the 10-0 Hillbillies. Now under center. Now snap goes to Skinner. Goes around the left side. No, they faked me out. Xander Payne held the ball. He's inside the 5 and picks up the first down.
Great call there by Payne. Did you see that open up? As you saw his receivers go out towards the sidelines, the middle of the field just opened up beautifully for him. And then goes right up the gut right there and almost takes it in.
1st and goal for the Mustangs at the 4-yard line. Make it the 5. Fredonia's defense got a turnover on the other side of the field on Medina's first drive inside the 5-yard line. Medina finally gets back inside the 5 here, and they've got Payne. Under center, takes the snap. He'll keep it himself. The fullback Skinner pushes him forward. They're going to push him all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Mustangs! Xander Payne keeps it himself, gets the help from his backfield. The Mustangs a quick 6-0 lead here in quarter number 2.
Backfield, don't forget the line to get that push going, right? That push gets led by the offensive line, and then he gets a little help from the backside to be able to finish it off.
Right up the gut there. This Medina O-line led by their center, Colvin Stalker, the senior. Pushed that line as he handed the snap off and then just got his feet moving, got the bodies moving, and eventually Payne falls his way beyond the goal line.
They're going for 2 right here.
With Payne in shotgun, he's got 1 behind him. Snap to Payne, handoff to Skinner, and he's going to walk in for an extra 2 points. 8-0 lead for the Mustangs. 10:40 to go in the second quarter of play.
Boy, I think today you may be better off going for 2 than actually kicking the extra points today.
You don't have to clear off the field.
Anything can happen, when you're talking about placement down, going up, trying to kick in a wet area. Anything can happen out there. So, I do like the call right there, 2 points. And when you get it into a 2-point game, we could be talking about, again, special teams coming into play and being the big difference of whether you win or lose.
8-0 lead for Medina. Fredonia will look to return this kick. They've got Whitfield back there to return. Also deep will be number 8 for the Hillbillies, Ethan Fry.
I wonder if Fredonia's expecting a short little kick right here.
A lot of bodies just 10 yards off the ball.
You could see it almost expecting something that's going to be short.
Xander Payne, the kicker for Medina as well. And we see how the Mustangs attack this kick. It's a squib that goes over the middle, and diving on it there will be Xavier Bloom. Or correction, that'll be Micah Davis with Fredonia.
So they were. That's exactly what they were doing. They were expecting that short one. As you saw, both Davis brothers right there moved up and were playing up right there. They were expecting the short kick to see if they could make a return from there.
Now the snow starts to flurry a bit more at Highmark Stadium. Nick Whitfield will stand in shotgun. 3 to his right, 1 to his left. Lauder in the backfield. Lauder, the only one with, looks like a sweatshirt on under his uniform. Bit easier to grip the ball, maybe. We'll see. Handoff, no. Snap goes to Whitfield, throws over the middle. It's incomplete.
Oh, and there's a flag.
Davis, flag on the play.
Came in late, and you're going to think it's some sort of defensive holding or passing interference play. You actually saw Simon Davis calling for a flag right there. He got it.
It will be against the Mustangs.
And it is passing interference right there.
thick snowflakes coming down now. We'll see how that accumulates on the field throughout not just today's game. We've got 2 more to play after this one from Highmark Stadium in the B Championship and then the AA as well following that here from Orchard Park. So they'll walk off the yardage. Fredonia will pick up the first down on the penalty, and they're right at midfield at the 50-yard line.
And remember, you'll be on a call later on as you're going to have the Monsignor Martin Championships as you'll head over to St. Francis for St. Francis and Canisius.
Have to be careful on the roads, of course. If you're listening, stay safe. That's why we're here. You can stay in your home, stay warm, and watch us all day on Western New York Athletics. Fumble on the play. Whitfield gave it up on the run, and it'll be a turnover. Medina recovers the fumble. It was Skinner who fell on it. Looked like it was just a clean mishandle of the ball from Whitfield. No one was in there to punch it away. But like we said, the elements play an element in the game. Turnover for Fredonia, and now Medina's got a chance to go up 2 scores.
We no doubt it's going to be like this all day, right? It could be the battle of who wins the turnovers and who can hold on to the ball right now. No doubt that's going to be the difference of whether you win a sectional title or not today. And it's not only the fact that it's cold and yes, it's snowing, but look at the way the snow's coming down. That's wind having an effect on that. As you can see, it's swirling all over, which means the wind is having an effect out there too. Wind having an effect.
See it on the goalposts. The flag's moving a bit side to side. Now in shotgun, Payne hands it off to Skinner up the middle. Hole is created. Skinner keeps churning the legs, is finally met there by the Hillbillies, and it takes 3 Hillbillies to bring him down. Beyond the midfield line, Skinner gets to about the 45-yard line of Fredonia. Second down. Credit the junior Micah Davis making the tackle on the play with a host of Hillbillies. Second down and 1 coming up.
And I will tell you, though, because of the weather, a lot of running, that clock keeps moving. It's going to be time of possession, too. You've got to make sure you win that time of possession battle today.
Payne under center, takes a snap. He'll follow his O-line and try to fight for the first down. Bodies pile up by the line of scrimmage. They rule him shy of the first down, a pickup of about 1 on the play. That'll bring up third down for Medina. So Fredonia can get away with that fumble if they can get a stop here in midfield and not give up any points, as Medina's already out to a quick 8-0 lead here in quarter number 2. 9:20 remaining in the first half of play and counting.
You almost wonder, too, are they in fourth down territory? They're flirting with it right now. They're flirting with the chance. I mean, it is very short here. I'm not going to be surprised we see that play earlier with Payne, right up the middle with the push.
Eric Valley, head coach of the Mustangs, knows that this Fredonia team will stifle you defensively if you don't score on them quick when you get the opportunities. But it looks like they won't even need to think about going for it on fourth down as they give them the first down on the third down conversion. First and 10 from the 42. We've got a timeout from Fredonia. And we'll take a timeout as well. We'll rejoin you on the other side of this break. 8-0 Mustangs lead in the second quarter. You're watching Western New York Athletics. First and 10 for Medina out of the timeout from Fredonia. In shotgun is Payne. In motion is a man, and getting the ball along the near sideline now is Thompson. He'll try to turn the corner on Davis, and it'll go out of bounds after a pickup of around 4.
Big drive right here for both teams, right? You don't want to be Fredonia right now and fall down by 2 possible scores here early in this game in these elements. But at the same time right, Medina could really take a commanding lead right here early in this game and go into halftime with a nice lead if they can keep this drive moving.
Greg Sherlock recognizing the momentum in the game and recognizing the shift in momentum towards Medina after the turnover, calls the timeout. Out of the timeout, a first down stop after a pickup of 4 yards. Now the handoff to Skinner up the middle, follows the O-line and his lead blocker, and he continues to fight for more yards beyond the 30-yard line before finally being taken down by Devon McCall. First down for the Mustangs.
That was Simon Davis who actually recorded the tackle right there, and I'll tell you, if he gets past Davis right there, it was clear the rest of the way to the end zone.
It was Zach Oliver, the O-lineman, who was pushing the line forward, helping Skinner get those extra yards there. The left guard pulling on that one. First down and 10 at the 28-yard line. Handoff to Skinner. He's met at the line. Fredonia got there, and they'll wrap him up and bring him down. Looked like Matt Lauder got in on the tackle. The running back, also a linebacker, meets him in the hole. It'll be second down and 10 after a no yard gained on first down.
Snow still, wow. I mean, we had heard originally this could stop somewhere about the second game, but boy, it doesn't look like it's going to let up anywhere around here.
And even if it does stop, the snow's still on the ground. That's not going anywhere. Now rolling left, throwing his Payne, and he got hit while he threw. No flags on the field as it fell incomplete above the head of the intended receiver. Looked like Lilliaby on the play.
And class act right there, too. Did you see that? Number 20 from Fredonia with the hit, Samuel Astrat. You see him pick him up, too. Knock down, picks him up, right? Make sure, hey, everything all right? It was a good play. Fantastic play. You're the one who made him throw the ball quicker, but it's a good job of helping up the quarterback, too. I love great sportsmanship that's out there at the same time, which is why you're going to see at the end of this game them give out the Character Athlete Award, and that's for plays just like that, which is what they award.
We'll keep an eye on Astrat, the sophomore. Good to see character from the younger guys as well coming up on the varsity squad, making plays and being good sportsmen about it as well. And a timeout from the Mustangs on third down and 11. We'll take a brief intermission. Join you back for third down. You're watching Western New York Athletics.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com. Ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.
We welcome you back to Highmark Stadium. Third down and 11 for the Mustangs. We heard their crowd chanting out their Medina chant, trying to cheer him on for third down. Pump fakes the handoff. He'll tuck it and run it himself. Xander Payne does, following the block of Skinner, and he's got a lane to the end zone. Touchdown, Mustangs! Xander Payne's second rushing touchdown on the day puts the Mustangs up 14-0, awaiting the extra point.
I'm not saying it was. It looked like it was a play that was broken up. It looked like he went to the pitch and the running back went the other way. He keeps it and then runs it, but that hole opens up nice for him, and he sees it and finds clear daylight right to the end zone. What a great job right there by Payne, as he really has looked strong so far early in this game, especially with his legs today.
A pair of underclassmen, as it's Xavier King and Chris Johnson on that O-line on the right side created the hole on that one. Handoff now for the 2-point conversion right up the middle, and they'll get in there. 2 points complete as it's Thompson who runs it in after the touchdown. 16-0 lead for the Mustangs. 7:34 remaining in the first half.
More than enough time in this half, but I'll tell you, Fredonia now needs to have that drive, needs to have the answer right here. We really haven't seen that long drive that's been sustained from Fredonia. That's now what Fredonia's got to make happen. Hold on to the ball, make something happen offensively now.
Payne, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, brings his season total to 6 on the ground. We knew with the elements we'd see maybe a bit more ground play. Still waiting to see those fastball arms get opened up here as the game continues. Maybe into the second half as the snow slows up. Might see a bit more passing from either side. Of course, we might expect that more out of Fredonia now, down 2 scores.
I mean, right now, if I'm Medina, I don't need to, right? I can control the clock. I can control right now the time of possession. I could try to keep the ball away from Fredonia because they know how potent this offense can be for Fredonia, too.
Payne to kick off. Does so, a squib kick, bounces, it's still free beyond midfield. Ooh, a risky kick there if you're Fredonia. As Medina, if they're quick enough on that far sideline, they can get on that thing and recover it.
But what it does do, though, is give Fredonia great field position, right? Something to start off, something to build off right now, which is the starting point which Fredonia needs.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hillbillies on their own side of the field, just barely at the 44-yard line. We look to the quarterback, Nick Whitfield. Fredonia, they say their head coach in Greg Sherlock said at Media Day he's used to being the underdog. He was used to it in Class B. He's used to it in Class C in his own division, playing tough opponents throughout the regular season, and he's used to being the underdog here as he's picked today not to win this one. Now they find themselves down 16-0. They go to the running back, Lauder. He'll pick up 6 on the play. But this Fredonia team, not uncomfortable, down 16-0.
No, listen, they've come from behind. They've led. We've seen it. We know they can come with a very quick strike offense. There's a lot of things they can do and a lot of different formations they could come at you with, and they can do it by the run, by the pass, so they can strike quickly. You cannot think that this game's over. It is not over by any stretch of the means.
Stacked receivers, 2 to each side. Snap to Whitfield, handoff to Lauder. Finds the hole on the left side, runs over a man, and he's finally taken down beyond the first down marker. A pickup of 10 and a first down for the Hillbillies.
Lauder, too, you see how he's running? He's really protecting that ball. He's making sure that ball ain't going to come out. He's got a nice protection of the ball, and he's making sure he holds on to it as he's getting these first downs right now.
Looks like the only player on the field in a sweatshirt underneath the uniform. Everyone else has the Under Armour or the dry fit shirt.
Or none. Some of the offensive linemen don't have any. It's just the bare arms.
You mentioned Whitfield came out here earlier, no shirt on. Well, he throws the uniform on at least for the game time, and he's got the Under Armour there as well. Handoff to Lauder, and he takes it up the left side, bowls over a man, and is taken down right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Looked like on the tackle there was number 5, Robert Arnold for Medina. But boy, that clock keeps ticking. Look at that, 6:02, 6:1, 6 minutes right now, right? You could see as it's ticking, and because you got to run the ball, that clock's going to keep moving today.
Same formation for the Hillbillies. It's Whitfield in shotgun, Lauder behind him. Handoff to Lauder. He's met there, wow, but he bounces out to the left side now and will bowl over another Medina Mustang and move the yard marker to around the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. Make it 3rd down for Fredonia.
And that was Chris Johnson on the tackle, the junior 6 foot, 255-pounder. But I'll tell you, I'm going to give Lauder tons of credit on that one. Did you see that smacked into the line? That line was waiting there for him. Does a great job of keeping the feet moving in this bad weather and still turns it into a positive.
They spread the receivers out, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Snap, throw right side way over Simon Davis's head. Whitfield didn't look like he got a good grip of that football. A slick ball potentially forces the incompletion. That'll bring up 4th and long.
Yeah, it looked like that slipped right out of his hands as he threw it right there. As you can see, it was wobbling through the air. I think he was trying to get it out just really quick and really didn't get that good handle he wanted on the ball. But 4th down here, they're absolutely in that 4th down territory right here. And you're in that in-between, right? Do you go for the run or are you going to pass this one?
They've got 2 receivers to each side, spread out well. Looks like man coverage for Medina as they've got 1 safety up top. The DBs move in amongst 5 yards. Lauders takes a step up in the backfield, and now the whistle goes. And we'll have a penalty called against Fredonia. That'll back them up on 4th down.
So now you're almost guaranteed you've got to go to the air right now is what's going to happen here. And this is 2 things. This is that thought process, right? Do I take a shot right here? And even if I take the shot and it gets intercepted, is it kind of like a punt? What is the thought process here? But I think you're going to see them try to at least go to the air and see if they can make a play happen right here to one of their big receivers.
Nick Whitfield, 16 touchdowns through the air on the year, just 2 interceptions for just around 1,700 yards on the season. 4th down, 4th and 12, and a timeout called by the Hillbillies as they see how Medina lines up defensively. We see how Fredonia comes out of this timeout right after this break. We'll be back on Western New York Athletics.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com. Ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.
We welcome you back to Highmark Stadium. Section 6 Class C Championships. Medina up 16-0, and a big 4th down here for the Fredonia Hillbillies. They're inside Medina territory at the 42-yard line. Out of the timeout, we look to see how the Hillbillies attack this Mustang defense that has really been shutting down the run so far of Fredonia.
Well, they're going to punt.
Looks like that, yeah, as they've got the big man, number 70, the punter, Owen Rush. Sophomore, way back at his own 45.
Jack, I can't believe how many offensive linemen are now punting. It's been almost every game we've seen an offensive lineman out there punting. Oh, no.
Botch snap. Rush will dive on it, and he'll get it, but that's going to be a turnover, and Medina's going to get the ball now inside Fredonia territory. Deep inside Medina territory at around the 32-yard line.
That's the elements right there, right? It really is coming into play. We've talked about it, and now you've got a chance for Medina to really capitalize on this. But, boy, listen, we knew the elements were going to come into play. We really did. And I understand why you were punting there, but you can see is with your long snapper not getting a lot of action out there, and it's cold. Unfortunately, that's what we see that is a possibility of happening. We saw Medina, the opposite happen, though, and Cicchini ends up picking it up off the ground and doing something with it.
The elements have no bias. It's all about how you react to them, and now it's a run along the near side and taking off up the middle and walking into the end zone is Greg Thompson. Touchdown, Mustangs!
Wow, I can't believe he kept his footing through some of that. Did you see? It looked like he was slipping, sliding a couple times as he's getting hit and still was able to keep his footing and still be able to run it in for a touchdown. Wow, what a fantastic run. And right now, this Medina team just saying is, elements or not, we're here for a mission.
A 32-yard touchdown run for Greg Thompson. Just his his second touchdown rush on the year. He had 25 carries entering today. Now the 2-point conversion. They hand off in the backfield. getting to the goal line. We look for the ruling. He's in. Believe it was Skinner on the carry, and it was. Noah Skinner gets in for the 24-0 lead for the Mustangs with 4:43 remaining in the first half. It's all Medina.
It really is right now. And I don't think anybody would have predicted a 24-0 at halftime. I'll tell you this. I also don't think anybody would have predicted, even hearing some of the weather, that we'd see field conditions like this either at the same exact time. But listen, there's no 24-point play out there, Jack. It's just there isn't. There's no way to do that. So what you need to do, one drive, one stop at a time right here. Your job is you've got 4:42 still left on this clock. There's still more than enough time for Fredonia to come down and put points on the board. That's got to be the goal, to put points on the board, and a long drive is what they're looking for at this point. Have something to go into halftime with some sort of momentum, some sort of positive, something to build off is what you're looking for at this point.
You figure Fredonia, they got to keep looking at the running back Matthew Lauder. 130 carries on the year, over 1,000-yard rusher already on the season. You can't abandon the run game and start to throw in these elements, as you've seen the ball slip out and fall a few times. I don't think we've had many completed passes on the day. Would love to check the stat on that, as the kickoff is handled by Fredonia. They're going to try to return this one from their own 45, but they won't get much yardage on it, as that was Simon Davis. In on the tackle there was number 28, Noah Kudzillo, the sophomore. So Fredonia will take over. Decent field position at the 45.
There's your total yards right there. That's right now the biggest difference in that game. 208 yards to 32 yards right now. There has to be a drive right now for Fredonia. They've got to put together to start tacking on yards and be able to add on to the time of possession right there.
Medina just 4 yards away from having another 6 points, as they had a fumble inside the 5-yard line on their first drive of the day. That could have been 30 points already on the day for Medina. However, we sit at 24-0, and Whitfield is sacked. He's taken down in the backfield. The Medina D-line got there. Looked like number 56 was in on that one, Josh Wilson, the junior.
Wow, that's a big – and you saw – here's the one thing. I know that Whitfield did fumble early in the game on a run, but I think you're going to have him run the ball a little bit more today. I think you're going to have to do a combo more with Lauder and Whitfield right now running the ball. And I don't know if they're not running the ball because of that early on, but I really think you're going to need to move him with his legs too.
Micah Davis now in the backfield. Snap to Whitfield, stands in the pocket, delivers a long pass looking for McCall. And did he make the catch? He's got the football, but it's ruled incomplete.
He almost came up with a fantastic play as he was coming back for the ball right there. Almost has a highlight play for his team, and would have been a nice little momentum on this drive for them if it could have actually been completed.
Rashawn Bloom in coverage on the play along with Jaron Rim. Fredonia, I like the shot, 2nd and 15, 2nd and 17 make that. They look deep along the right sideline, falls incomplete. Now they set up 3rd down and 17. Ball at the 34. Empty backfield, 3 to the right stacked, 2 to the left stacked for Fredonia. Here's Whitfield rolling to his left, pressure coming. He throws it on the run, and that'll sail out of bounds for an incompletion, and it'll bring up another 4th down and long for the Hillbillies, and they're going to send out the punt unit.
And not only that, 3:40 still left on the clock. You're giving Medina a lot of time right now to be able to put more points up on the board. That's the only negative to the passing part right there, is stopping that clock.
We look to see how Fredonia handles this punt. Last time it was a botched snap that went to the near side of the punter.
You can see him. He's kicking out whatever he can, trying to get some space right there in the field.
Owen Rush receives the snap now right to him, and he'll punt this one away. It'll go to around the 40. Make that the 45. It will roll all the way to the 41-yard line, where it's downed there by the Hillbillies and Micah Davis.
Great job, though, to get that one off, right? Good job, good punt. Really did what he needed to do right there for Rush. Now you've asking your defense for Fredonia, you've got to come up with a stop. We cannot let Medina right now score again, is what they're saying to their team, right? And Medina's right now going, we are not taking the foot off the pedal. We're going to do everything to keep this going. And I don't see any reason why you're not going to go ahead and make sure you keep running the ball right now.
Timeout on the field called by the Hillbillies. And we'll take a brief intermission. We'll wrap up the first half of play when we come back. 3:31 to go. It's 24-0 Medina. This is Western New York Athletics.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com. Ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.
We welcome you back. Highmark Stadium, Class C championship game, Medina and Fredonia. We look at the current weather, 34 and snowing in Orchard Park, New York, as the elements have definitely played an effect on this game. Medina with the ball in their own territory at their own 41-yard line. Xander Payne takes the shotgun snap, handoff to the man behind him, and the ball may have come out there, but it's recovered by Medina.
I think it landed on the ground and he landed right on it, so it didn't go anywhere.
That was Thompson, who's got one touchdown rush already today on the run. The 5'9" senior. Greg Thompson, a threat out of the backfield and out wide. 16 receptions on the year, just around 30 carries on the season as well. 2nd down and 4 to go. Same formation for the Mustangs. And now they bring Lillaby in the backfield. Payne, the hard count, fakes the snap, fakes the pitch. Now he'll take it himself up the right side. He's got nothing but daylight and snow in front of him. From the 10, the 5, touchdowns. Xander Payne is 3rd on the day. It's a 30-0 lead for the Mustangs.
So we called the last time he did that a busted play. That's not a busted play. That's planned. You saw that one now. Now that I saw it from this angle, you could see that's a fake pitch right out there, trying to get the defense to go in one direction. He goes the opposite direction, and now another touchdown right here from Medina.
Payne gets his 7th rushing touchdown on the season, bringing his season total to 28, including his passing touchdowns, and they're going to line up and go for 2. It's the same formation with Skinner in the backfield. He'll take the handoff and bowl his way up the middle. No problem. Goes in after delivering a small check at the goal line. No problem for Medina. They're up 32-0 here with still 2.5 to go in the first half of play. If you're Fredonia, you've got an opportunity here to put some points up before halftime, and it seems like you'd have to get some momentum going into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to try to do everything you can. You really can. I mean, right now, this has just been all Medina and all running the ball, right? It really has. If it's not Payne running it, right, it's Skinner and Thompson right now joining in and aiding Payne right now in this run game. When you're talking about, we saw the yardages that were up there before, right? So I could just imagine almost all that's run.
I don't think we've had a single completed pass from Medina
right?
on the day.
So, and if we did, it was a very short one, I think, early on. But again, almost all that's going to be rushing yards. What are the rushing yards? 268 total rushing yards right now for Medina is exactly your total right there.
It's been all Mustangs in the first half. 32-zip the score. A new place kicker will boot this one deep as it wasn't recognized by Fredonia, and now it'll be picked up in the backfield around the 20-yard line, getting past the 20 to around the 24 was number 8, Ethan Fry.
That's the first time we've seen Medina actually kick it deep.
And it was Cole Callard on the kick. The kicker on the roster. The freshman looked like he just got called up for the playoffs. As usually, it's Xander Payne on kickoffs, the kickoff specialist, as they say. But that time they send Callard out there. He boots one deep. About a 5-yard return will give the Hillbillies the ball 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line. Whitfield in shotgun, 3 to his right, 1 to his left. Pitches it along the right sideline. Micah Davis takes it. He is met there around the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Boy, this Medina defense has just been swarming today, right? You just see it's not one guy getting to the ball. It's more been 3-4 guys right there on the ball at the same time. When we're calling tackles, we're trying to see who the first one's there, but it's 3-4 guys constantly in on the tackle.
2nd and 10 for Fredonia. 3 to the left, 1 to the right along the right hash. Handoff to Lotter. Runs over one man, finally is met by a few Mustangs on the play. Joe Caccini was there for the tackle. It'll be 2nd down, make it 3rd down coming up for Fredonia. 3rd and short, 3rd and 3 at their own 30-yard line.
Coming up on a minute and a half right here, right? You think you may have to go to the air at one point here.
3 to the left. Whitfield will hand it off to Lotter up the middle. He's met there. What a tackle there from the D lineman from Medina. Skinner was in on the tackle.
Lotter's down right now, too.
And we'll have an injury timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout as well and rejoin you for the end of the first half. It's 32-0 Medina from Highmark Stadium. This is Western New York Athletics.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
I love being home.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to wnyImmediatecare.com for more information.
Welcome back. Highmark Stadium, Class C Section 6 championships, Medina and Fredonia. Medina took a timeout after the injury timeout as Lotter is back on his feet for Fredonia. A good sign for the Hillbilly running back. 4th down and short coming up. 4th and 2 for Fredonia out of the Medina timeout. They send 3 receivers wide to the left. Whitfield in the backfield with Micah Davis to his right. 4th down and 2 at the 33-yard line. Shotgun snap. Whitfield carries it himself, goes up the middle, rolls over one man, and finally is tripped up beyond the 40-yard line. 1st down for Fredonia as they build on some momentum here with 1:08 and counting to go in the first half.
And that's what we talked about earlier, right? Seeing Whitfield kind of carry the ball a little bit too. I think we're going to see a little bit more of that in the second half, just trying to find out what works offensively for them.
Nick Whitfield, 6'5", 205 at quarterback, beg your pardon. And, man, if he just falls forward, he'll get 5 yards on it. So Nick Whitfield, not a bad rusher, their 2nd leading rusher on the season. Snap to Whitfield, stands in the pocket, throws left, looking for his man. It'll fall too far for number 13, Jamison Quinn. It at least stops the clock for the Fredonias with 48, make it 46 seconds to go in the first half of play. Fredonia out of timeouts. The Mustangs with a few remaining. 2nd down. Whitfield in the backfield Davis to his right, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Looks like a zone defense for Medina. Whitfield will take it himself and run up the middle. He makes a move and he breaks free. Here's Nick Whitfield beyond the far defender. Skinner's trying to chase after him, but it's going to be a touchdown, Fredonia. Hillbillies are on the board off the legs of Nick Whitfield Jr.
Look at that shot right now that we're seeing there in the snow. Look at that. You can barely see him through there. Unbelievable. But this is what we talked about. We were going to see Whitfield have to run the ball because we knew this can happen for Fredonia also. Great right there job by Fredonia trying to get some momentum to go into halftime right there.
A 50-plus yard touchdown run. That'll bring the yardage mark back up there for Fredonia as they're on the board with 6, and they'll look to attempt the extra point as it looks like they're lining up to go for 2.
I think you have to, right? You really have to because you're trying to match right now anything that Medina's done.
Medina converting on every 2-point conversion that they've scored on all 4 touchdowns. Fredonia looks to match. In shotgun, Whitfield takes it. He'll run it himself to the right side, trying to put on the wheels, but he's not going to get there. Making the tackle along the far side are the Mustangs. Looked like number 4 was there in Jarin Rim with the speed. You can't outrun that guy to the sideline. He's got you there. And Whitfield stopped shy for the 2 points. However, it's 32-6 now as Fredonia breaks the shutout of Medina. 37 seconds to go in the first half of play.
But it's what we thought an adjustment needed to be made for Fredonia. They make the good adjustment right there, you see. They find something with Whitfield and see how you can build off that going into the second half is what you're going to be looking to do.
We've seen Xander Payne rush in 3 touchdowns already for Medina. Whitfield matches. He's got 1 now on the day.
Thompson with 1, right?
Thompson's got a rushing touchdown, and that's where we stand at 32-6 as Thompson had the only touchdown that wasn't scored by a quarterback. Nick Whitfield now at 13 rushing touchdowns on the season, bringing his season total to 29 touchdowns. And just 2 interceptions on that, too. Very careful with the football. Of course, we did see a fumble in this game that led to a Medina score. Here's the kick. A high floater that'll roll to around the 30. Medina fumbles the ball, but the Mustangs quick to jump on that one as it hit the returner's hands. And then diving on it to make the play was number 10 for Medina in Jared Odida.
Good heads up, because that's all you want to do in a day like this, right? Just stop. Don't try to pick it up and advance it. Land on it, stay there right now, and make sure it stays your ball.
Especially with a 32-6 lead, just 30 seconds, 30 ticks away from halftime. You don't want to give up another score here for the Mustangs. 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. Could potentially see a kneel down here. Take the lead into halftime, although if you're Medina,
or do you try one run play? I mean, because you've busted so many run opportunities.
They've got Payne under center. He'll take the snap and the knee. So we'll head to halftime here. 32-6 is the score for the Mustangs. May have to play one more snap here for the clock to officially wind all the way down.
So we're going to quickly go right down at halftime as Sarah's going to have Coach right there, Coach Valley from Medina, is going to try talking to him real quick as he comes off the field.
So 32-6 the score after 2 quarters of play. Medina all over Fredonia. The Hillbillies the most recent touchdown, and will throw it down on the field to Sarah Holland.
I'm Sarah Holland. We're here with head coach Eric Valley. Coach, your team is up by 26 heading into the half. What did you see from them throughout the first half?
A lot of snow. Obviously, it slows everything down. It's completely changed our game plan. We've been able to, especially Xander, take off and run the ball in this slop, and it makes for some good angles when we're pulling. Our kids are doing a good job, despite the conditions. Get out and make some holes for them.
Coach, what are you telling your team as you guys head into the locker room?
We got to play a better second half than we did the first half. I mean, we need to continue to be consistent and hold on to the football.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Tom.
And with that, we will start our halftime festivities here of the first of 3 games from Highmark Stadium in this Section 6 championships. This one, the Class C matchup, Medina up 32-6 on Fredonia. You're watching Western New York Athletics. We'll join you after this intermission.
And we're going to go to the halftime, right? The halftime show. Look out. We've got Kyrie Demos. We've got Frank. We've got Francis, right? And
all right,
we also
welcome back
have
to the Highmark
and
Stadium.
Tim Chifo over
Francis
there. I apologize.
Beck here,
So
Tim
we've got
Chifo,
those
Kyrie
4 over
Demos,
there.
Frank
Join
Wolf.
them because they've got a
Halftime of
fantastic
the Section
halftime show
6
for you.
Class C championship, and it's right now the Medina Mustangs leading Fredonia 32-6. And this snow bowl of a game, it's the Mustangs that are getting things going. And until the very end, when Whitfield had, I believe, a 38-yard run, it's been all Medina.
I think it's safe to say Xander Payne earned the nickname Major today because he's delivering major pain to the Hillbillies.
Oh, I
defense.
like that.
So
I didn't get where you're going for that. It took me a second.
But I mean, what a tremendous effort. You know, he obviously has been able to do a lot through the air this season, but he's really showing his legs. You know, a few big scampers. You know, I know he had the 70-yard run that set up his first rushing touchdown of the game, and he, you know, also was able to pull away for a 54-yarder later in the half as well. But, you know, all Medina, and, you know, as we talked about earlier, you know, in the pregame, you know, this is a game that Medina really wants to be involved in. The weather's not great. They can just stick to their guns and stick to that running attack, and it's proven well for them. And it's very unfortunate that, you know, we get to a big game like this and Nick Whitfield isn't able to have the ability to show his, you know, what he can do with that passing attack just because the weather is a little limiting in that.
Yeah, I wanted to go down there the middle of the first quarter, and I went down to the field to really get a feel for what these kids are up against with the weather. And I'm telling you, the television and watching through the glass does not do it justice because it's a mess down there. I mean, it really is a mess. The field isn't plowed, so it's a very wet, sticky snow which is sticking to the ground. Everything is hard to do.
Yeah.
Literally everything. You see snaps being fumbled. You see punts being fumbled. You see, you know, it's very difficult to throw the ball. And what you will see, and we saw a bit in the first half, is some big plays on the run game because we talked about how difficult it is for the defense to get their footing. You know, Fredonia found themselves in a big hole, and when you can't throw because of the weather, it's a really you know, uphill battle to go against here.
So Medina gets the ball, marches down the field, fumbles on the 1. And
it was like one of those I imagine the ball was slick, and because the Fredonia player just got a little swipe at it, and you're like, I think any other time he probably would have already passed, been in the end zone, or he would have been able to hold on the ball. Falls at the 1, Medina gets it back, and they come up short of the goal line.
Yeah, like I said, I guarantee you the ball was wet. Like I can't emphasize enough how crazy it is down there. I was down there for maybe 15 minutes. I feel right now like I was in the shower for 20 minutes. I am absolutely soaked. My jacket is soaked. So I can't imagine how tough it is for these teams. You know, you don't practice this. You know, this is not something you can prepare for. Getting balls in and out constantly because the ball is so wet. You know, a lot of these teams, they like to play, you know, a shotgun formation the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that you really take for granted. But like I said, you can't prepare for this type of weather because there's no way to do it.
Yeah.
Frank, I'm going to turn this to you. Xander Payne had 185 total yards on the rushing, 4 TDs rushing coming into the game. What do your first stats look like?
Payne has 174 on the ground. Medina has a team 26 rushes for 303 yards. The interesting thing, though, again, I talked about it just a few moments ago when they fumbled with their first possession. That was Thompson who fumbled. He rebounds. He gets a nice big touchdown. That third touchdown of the game was by Medina, and then you really saw them start to separate themselves from this Hillbilly team. The other thing was, Francis, I noticed throughout the year, I went through the Trench Trophy list. Only one player from Medina was recognized or nominated so far. That's Joe Cicchini. But for Fredonia, there's 3 linemen. And right now, Medina is winning that battle in the trenches on both sides of the ball.
Agreed.
Medina, thanks to my stats guy, Carson Hayek from OP, JV Quarterbacks, doing some interning for us today. Appreciate him. He's been charting the runs for Medina. They've really been going up the middle quite a bit. 3 times as many rushes up the middle, but it looks like they've had more success to the left.
Mhm.
I saw that big gain in the first half by Xander Payne, who was tracked down. Who was that tracked him down? I wanted to give him some credit there. The kid from Fredonia who tracked him down. I'm listing his number right now. But great hustle out there. Big touchdown for Nick Whitfield at the end,
Huge.
guys.
Yeah, huge.
Is it a turning point for this game? We will have to wait and see.
Mhm.
Medina will get the ball at the half. And just like we talked about yesterday with that Jamestown team when they were in front by Falconer, big time Tim, we said, stop them. Stop that first drive. And I think Falcon, did they not? They didn't. They almost did.
No,
they did.
All right.
They did the first drive. You're right. But like we said yesterday, there's not a 28-point play.
Right.
So it is going to be very tough to get back in it. One thing also to mention, guys, all 4 of the touchdowns for Medina made all 4 2-point conversions.
True.
Huge.
Huge.
That's huge.
Huge.
Okay. Fredonia does get a score at the end of the half, doesn't get the 2-point conversion. So even in a more uphill battle, but you got to chip away at it. I would say, I think with the coaching staff for Fredonia probably is saying at this point, let's try to get, within 14 or so by the 4th quarter, and then anything can happen. But it's so difficult because of how hard it is to throw to get back in it from a running standpoint and stuff. And obviously you got to stop them.
All right, not to cut you guys off, but we got to cut it short. We're actually going to send it back to the press box where Tom Prince is with Section 6 football chairman Jay Sirianni. So for all of us here in the press box, we'll send it back to the broadcast booth.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to WNYImmediatecare.com for more information.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
I love being home.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, large or small, call 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab right away. If you are in pain or just sore, don't take chances. Call RES today and take advantage of their 24 to 48-hour appointment pledge. With no copays, RES will help navigate the confusing world of no-fault insurance with you, so you can concentrate on getting better. 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab. The most important call you can make after an auto accident.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
Call 835-WOLF. Remember, you call on the wolf. That's all you had to say. Call today.
Here at halftime, it's Medina up 32-6 over Fredonia in the Section 6 Class C championships. I'm joined by the Section 6 football chair, Jay Sirianni. Jay, good to see you. Good to have you here. And isn't it great to be back at Highmark Stadium?
It's great. It's great. I mean, this is where we want to be. You know, it's unique here in Section 6 that we get to play the sectional finals on an NFL field. And it's just great to be back after 1 year away.
So last year you were co-chair with Ken Stolt. Of course, the COVID season pushed everything back into the spring. What was that like, figuring all that out and then finally coming back here this year, a bit more of a normal season?
I don't know if it's a normal, more normal than playing spring ball. But there were some challenges this year, no doubt, trying to reschedule games and get all the games played. I think when it was all said and done, we only missed 3 games. And that was pretty remarkable. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, after the first week or two of the season, I didn't know we'd make it to this point. Grateful that we're here. And, everything's going off without a hitch except for the snow. But you know what? It's Buffalo in November, and nobody should be shocked.
Absolutely. And speaking of the snow, we saw as we came in this morning around 10 a.m., the field covered in a sheet of that white goodness down there. But then finally, we've got now, who's this shoveling on the field? Are those Section 6 people?
We get volunteers that come down. I mean, some of the guys have been here since, like, when the first games were played in 1979. So I want to tell them to stop shoveling because they've done such a great job. But they're doing pretty well down there.
They're doing pretty well, as is this Medina team. So far at halftime, they're up 32-6 over Fredonia. As we look to the second half of this game, the weather clears up. What are we expecting out of this game and then the later two games still to have?
I've seen Fredonia play a couple of times this year because they do play Southwestern, and the quarterback's a really good player, and their offense is pretty potent. Maybe they can start turning around here in the second half with the weather starting to clear up. But Medina looks pretty good too. I mean, their quarterback is he's legit. So some good players out on the field today, and later today in these games we're going to see some good football.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us,
yeah,
Jay.
Thanks for having me.
This is the halftime intermission report. We'll be back with the second half of Medina and Fredonia right here from Highmark Stadium. You're watching Western New York Athletics.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, large or small, call 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab right away. If you are in pain or just sore, don't take chances. Call RES today and take advantage of their 24 to 48-hour appointment pledge. With no copays, RES will help navigate the confusing world of no-fault insurance with you, so you can concentrate on getting better. 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab. The most important call you can make after an auto accident.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to WNYImmediatecare.com for more information.
300 Level Media is a locally owned and operated, multi-purpose media company right here in Western New York. You'll find us everywhere, covering the Bills, Sabres, Buttes, Bisons, Big Four basketball, local college sports, and much more. Our staff offers a variety of media services, from video production, live event coverage, audio broadcasts, professional voiceovers, camera operation, and videography. Visit www.300levelmedia.com or give us a call at 716-427-2600. This is 300 Level Media.
Does he do car? Forget about it. How about home? Forget about it. Does he get good rates? Forget about it. And you're saying there's no problem too big for this guy? Forget about it. Look, this is Johnny, the guy we've been talking about. Johnny, Paul Wolf.
Mr. Wolf, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for the invite.
Not a problem. It's Paul, not Mr. Wolf.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
Johnny, forget about it. For all your insurance needs, call 835-WOLF and...
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
We welcome you back to halftime here at Highmark Stadium. It's the Medina Mustangs up 32-6 over the Fredonia Hillbillies. We look at our stats here to this side of me as our time possession pretty even, but it's the Mustangs who've scored quick touchdowns here on a lot of big plays so far on the ground.
Yeah, it's been all ground, right? And we've seen it's been that one play too, that fake pitch out to the left side, and then Payne runs to the right side. They've been very successful seeing that today. And what I said on the broadcast in the first half, I think we need to see a combo running for the second half for Fredonia. You need to see both Whitfield and Lauder both share some runs. I'll tell you right now, you're going to see here the sun is trying to break through. It is bright now on the field. There obviously is no more snow. We could see it getting bright to the north. It still is dark to the south. I wonder if we're on the fringe or the border of anything out there. But right now it looks like this weather's ready to hold up for the second half. They've cleared lines out so you can see exactly where you are on the field, at least at this point. And this will be a very, very interesting second half. And it needs to start right now with Fredonia's defense, right, coming out there, making stops, and trying to give their offense an opportunity to get back in this game. And Medina, they want to keep doing what they're doing, right? Keep running the ball. They don't need to do anything different. Own the time of possession. It's a 5-minute difference right here where they've actually had. They need to keep that going and take this into the second half.
With the weather clearing up, you have to think advantage Fredonia, down 32-6. You want to probably come out running, but then throwing as you're down by 3 scores here. Need to get those points back quickly, but like you say, there is no 28-point play in football. You need to do it consistently on the ground through the air, but with the elements clearing up, should be advantage Nick Whitfield and the Fredonia Hillbillies.
Well, and again, this Medina team can do the same thing right back. We didn't get a chance because our sound wasn't working early in this game, but I said that these two teams almost mirrored each other coming into this game. Both fantastic quarterback play, right? You got Whitfield and Payne. Both can sling it. I told it about their fastballs. They throw everywhere between 85 and 88 miles an hour as a fastball. These kids both can sling it, so there's no doubt about it. You had 2 gunslingers. You got great running play, right? We talk about Lauder, we talk about Skinner, and then, oh, by the way, there's still Rim, and there's still, all the other guys we're talking about with Medina at the same time. Same thing with Fredonia. Davis can come in and run the ball, multiple things. And then defenses. Both lines were strong lines that we knew were coming into this game. So 2 very good teams that we talked about that were built kind of the same way. Now, obviously, Medina has taken control of the first half, done everything they need to do on the ground. Now, Fredonia has to make the stop. They have to make a stop and have some sort of momentum come their way and be able to start things off for them.
As the teams huddle up on the field, we'll huddle up back with you after this short intermission and get you going for half number 2 from Highmark Stadium. It's Medina and Fredonia in the Class C Section 6 Championship.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
I love being home.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to wnyImmediatecare.com for more information.
Half number 2 ready to get underway from Highmark Stadium. It's the Mustangs kicking off left to right on your screen. Receiving for Fredonia, Simon Davis back there. Nick Whitfield along the near sideline. As Fredonia juiced up out of halftime. Their crowd was cheering them on as they need all the encouragement they can get here. A squib kick goes about 15, and sliding on this one will be Simon Davis. And Fredonia will get decent field position here out of the half. 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line.
So we always talk about, right, any game, what adjustments are now made at halftime. What are the adjustments that we'll see Fredonia come out in, that they're going to try to move the ball? We saw very quickly, though, at the end of the half, we saw the first adjustment, Whitfield with his legs. Let's see what they do and see if they transition that into the second half right here.
3 wide to the left for Fredonia. Davis in the slot. 1 wide right, Lauder in the backfield with Whitfield in shotgun. Snap goes to Whitfield, has to grab it, and he's met there in the backfield. Roosevelt Mitchell got there quickly, number 63 in blue. It'll be a loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down coming up. Medina's defense hitting early in half number 2.
Mitchell right there, you just talked about, right? 63, sophomore, 6'4", 320, and he gets through a line that quick? Wow.
What more do you want as a D-line coach?
That's your guy right there, no doubt about it. Future stays big on that defensive line.
Just a sophomore. Yeah, Medina's going to be here a couple more times. Here's Whitfield throwing that one to the slot man in Davis. Too low for him. It'll fall incomplete. 2nd down. Looked like maybe a miscommunication there on where the pass was going as Davis wasn't quite ready for it. 3rd down coming up for Fredonia.
I'll tell you, we saw like I said, when we were doing our part of the halftime, we saw sun actually come out. Now we're seeing that dark area that was in the Southtown start to come back over the stadium right now.
3rd down, 11 to go. Empty set for Fredonia. Whitfield in shotgun. 3 to his left, 2 to his right. Stands in the pocket. Lets one go. Simon Davis running after it. It's too far ahead of him. In coverage on the play was Jaron Rim. He had Davis. He beat Rim down that right side, but just too far ahead of him. But we know this Fredonia team can be explosive like that. They can hit a 30-yard pass to Davis and flip the switch and pick up quick yardage like that.
Momentum is a crazy thing. It really is, right? And that's all that Fredonia is looking for, is some sort of momentum right here. But Medina does its job. It needs to come out and make that stop so that momentum doesn't change right away inside the second half.
They look to Simon Davis, 20 yards per reception on the year. They don't go to him often, just 19 receptions on the season, as this punt from Rush will roll all the way to the 15-yard line where it's downed there by the Hillbillies. Medina will take over as some snow trickles down, and we're back to where we were a few minutes ago.
Jack, I was just about to say the same thing, which is so funny. And we saw it. I wish you could see it, because obviously you can't see what it looks like weather-wise, but we saw how dark it was, and we're seeing that darkness just creep over the stadium right now. And here it is bringing some more of that snow again. Let's see if the weather holds up or what it's going to bring. But this has been a very interesting game, to say the least.
1st and 10 for Medina. They've got 4 wide, 2 to each side. Right down the middle is Xander Payne in shotgun. Gets the snap, hands it off to Skinner in the backfield. He's met there by a Hillbilly, but Skinner churns the legs and continues to fight through. As Lauder was hanging on to him, it took Simon Davis coming in to make the tackle, a gain of 3.
It looked like he was hitting the backfield there, and he really is that workhorse running back that every team wishes they could have, right? You know you're going to get 3-4 yards out of him, and he's going to fight for every single opportunity and yard that's out there for you.
60 carries on the year, just under 600 yards for Noah Skinner as he wasn't used much as a piece of this offense until midway through the year when they really started making him the focal point of that running game. A keeper here from Xander Payne, and he keeps the legs moving. The O-line gives him a push, and they'll push him all the way near the 30-yard line. It's a Medina first down. That battle in the trenches sure is making a difference here. Medina pushing Fredonia back on that one, as we've seen a few times earlier in the first half. Medina's O-line just creating these lanes for Xander Payne and Noah Skinner to run through. It's a first down, 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. A bunch formation here for the Mustangs. 2 in the backfield. Now in motion is Rim. Handoff goes to Rim up the left side on the jet sweep. He cuts inside and is finally taken down just beyond the 35-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down for Medina. Credit Davis on the tackle. Also there was number 20 for Fredonia, that being Samuel Atzerot.
Jack, no doubt, though, this is exactly the way Medina needed this to come out at halftime, right? And Fredonia needed to somehow have that drive early on to try to switch that momentum. What does Medina do? They come out, they get their 3 and out, and now what are they doing here? Slowly, methodically moving the ball, controlling the clock, exactly what you want to do with a lead right now.
2 to each side, handoff. No, it's a keeper here from Payne as he gets beyond the first down marker, picks up the yardage. 1st down and 10. Beyond the 40-yard line, 1st down for Medina.
And Alex Pollock right there in the tackle, the senior defensive lineman, 6'2", 210-pounder. You can see he had him right there. He got him at the ankles right there, grabbed him. He doesn't make that play. And again, you have more opening right here for him to go and make another big play. Three more games today. We'll talk about a little bit what the rest of the schedule looks like for today.
1st and 10, 2 to each side for Medina. Pressure from the Fredonia D-line, handoff. And the run for the Mustangs will be met at the O-line. There's Fredonia's pressure, pushing the quarterback Payne all the way back as he kept it himself on that one. No gain, if any. It'll be a 2nd down. Looks like they're going to give him about 2 yards here.
So next game will be Iroquois versus Western New York Maritime, a rematch of the spring sectional championships. And then the double A matchup will be Bennett versus Lancaster to finish this one off. But at the same time as that game is going on, we'll also be at the Monsignor Martin Championships. You'll have the call over there where St. Francis takes on Canisius.
In a rematch from just 3 weeks ago, Canisius and St. Francis square off for the Monsignor title. Now here's a run for Medina, and continuing to push the defense back is Noah Skinner. He fights what could have been a minimal gain of 3 to 4 yards. Him, along with the Medina backfield, pushing him forward, gets him all the way inside Fredonia territory, past the 45. It's a 1st down inside Hillbilly territory.
Yeah, he really does. Just a great job running the ball today. Keeps those legs moving. If you are a little loop player out there and you're out there watching this, this is a player you want to watch. Never stops, never gives up on a play, constantly stays moving and gets every single yard possible.
Payne in shotgun. Takes the snap, hand off to Skinner in the backfield, follows his blocks, and there's a lane all the way to Medina, and the end zone. Hustling after him is Quinn. He won't get there. Touchdown for Noah Skinner. Medina piles it on. 38-6 lead now with 7:11 to go in the 3rd quarter, awaiting the extra point.
Boy, Skinner, Thompson, Payne, all with scores today.
Xander Payne, 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. Thompson and now Noah Skinner, each with 1. So Medina comes out of halftime. They kick off. They get a 3-and-out stop and march down the field from their own 20-yard line. Now the 2-point conversion attempt. Skinner, he's not going down after 1 hit. Don't you worry about it. He walks into the end zone, 40-6.
Just really is. That's why I've been constantly calling him that unsung hero, right? Probably out of all the players that have really seen that have been big players out of Medina, doesn't get the recognition that he really deserves, because there are so many guys on this team that are such big athletes and such big stars on this team. But he just really is that player. Love to watch, constantly does it, constantly finds ways to be able to help his team out, and that's a big reason why they are 10-0 and trying to win their sectional championship for the second year in a row.
Noah Skinner converts on his 4th 2-point conversion on the day, taking advantage of every chance they can get points. Medina not kicking any extra points. They're up now 40-6 over Fredonia in a game that no one could have expected this outcome this soon into this game. We feel like we've been saying that last week. We had Orchard Park and Bennett, a 54-14 lead at halftime. This one eerily similar, but again, Fredonia with plenty of time to make a comeback here, but it all starts on the defensive side of the ball. Got to get a stop on this Medina team.
And really, it'll start right now on the offensive side of the ball is where it'll start right now, because you've got to have a drive that is sustaining, right? Or you've got to do something to get down in the end zone quickly, so to give your defense that momentum and that positivity they're looking for.
Davis picks up the kickoff near the 35-yard line, dances his way to the 40, where he'll be tackled there by the Mustangs gunners. It'll be 1st and 10 for Fredonia right at their own 40-yard line. Fredonia getting away with one on the first drive of the game. Medina got all the way inside the 5-yard line as the snow poured down at the start of this one, forced a fumble, which seemed to be crucial in the moment and held the game close for a while as we head into the second quarter, tied 0-0. Then an explosion from Medina in the second quarter has them up now 40-6 after the most recent Noah Skinner touchdown. Here is Fredonia, 1st and 10 at their own 40, 3 to the left, empty backfield for Nick Whitfield. He'll stand in the pocket, looking over the middle. He'll throw one, and it's intended for Davis, but it falls incomplete. Seems like they're just off their rhythm so far today.
You saw there, too, when it came back. Did you see how long that Nick Field actually was putting the ball in his hand to try to find the right grip right there for him? Obviously, he doesn't have a good grip on the football. We see that. If you remember in the first half, there were a couple that wobble, really were tough throws, because you can see he's not getting that grip he wants.
2nd and 10 at the 40-yard line. They bring Lauder into the backfield, 3 wide to the left, 1 to the right. Shotgun for Whitfield. Safeties press up for Medina. Now it's Whitfield running himself, trying to dance his way beyond the 40-yard line. He maybe picks up 3 on the play. It'll bring up another 3rd and long for the Hillbillies. Medina's defense closing the gaps quickly.
And again, it's that team tackling that we talked about also. You remember, Jack, we talked about it in the first half. It's not one guy that we're calling on for the tackle. It's been 3-4 guys right there to make the tackle.
Whitfield, empty set. 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Awaiting the snap. Line is set. Here's the snap. Whitfield over the middle. Again looking for Davis, but it's too far ahead of him. Incomplete. They really want to get Simon Davis involved offensively. The senior standing at 5'10", 170 over the middle. They've looked for him a couple times, but him and Whitfield just aren't syncing up together so far today, as we've seen a few incompletions from that duo today.
And I hate to say, I really think it's because Whitfield's not getting that grip on the ball that he wants. It just doesn't seem to be coming into him and coming out of his hand as smooth as we've seen it all season.
Here's a punt for Rush, almost blocked as Medina put the pressure on the punt. There's no one deep to return. It'll roll all the way to the 20-yard line where Fredonia will down it there with Quinn. 1st and 10, Medina will take over on offense.
Listen, our sideline reporter, Sarah Holland, who has been doing a fantastic job today, she came up here at halftime. She was soaking wet through a jacket that really went even through the jacket. It's nasty down there. It really is. And then you add on that wind. You can see the flag right now. They can't see it on the broadcast, but we can see it right now. That thing's really blowing out there. It's cold. It's wet. It's damp. It's tough to be able to throw the ball today. And I'll tell you, that may come up in big in the next game, as Trey Kleitz right now is trying to go for the most touchdowns thrown inside Section 6 history right now, and will he be able to throw the ball as well as he needs to in the next game?
Maybe those Section 6 shovelers clear off more of the field in between the two games. Here's Xander Payne. He's just going to take a seat in the backfield there before getting hit. Avoids the contact and just sits one down there, and he'll take the loss of 5 on the play, 2nd down and 15.
See, but that's something to know, too, for the entire rest of the day, right? Is a negative play may be better than causing a turnover, right? Instead of just go down, take the negative play, start over again, instead of going and having a possible turnover because you're trying to make something happen that is very hard to do in these conditions.
2nd down and 15 for Medina. They lead 40-6 here, 5.5, just under that remaining in quarter number 3. Snap, bad snap there. It goes below the hands of Xander Payne. He falls on it as it slipped between his legs. Fredonia's defense back there quickly with number 55, Alex Pollock, putting the pressure on after the fumble. It'll be 3rd down after 2 substantial losses.
So we'll see what Medina does here, right? Are they looking to just get some room right now and punt this one out? Do they try to throw the ball right here? I mean, my assumption is we're probably just going to see a run, try to get some more room for your punter. But let's see what Medina decides to do right here.
I'm not a coach, but, man, I would take a shot. If I'm playing this game on Madden, I'm seeing a single coverage down here with Rim and Simon Davis on the near sideline, and I'm throwing this thing up there with Xander Payne. Payne in the pocket. Will throw. He goes left side. It comes out short and will fall incomplete there.
It's actually saying it was a catch.
But it'll be right at the line of scrimmage. The player goes down. That was Rim.
And
no, correction, that was Thompson.
What happens on that play, the reason why that stops is once a player's knee hits the ground, it stops whether they've been touched or not in high school. So that's why that play is dead right there, even though nobody comes up and touches him. He cannot get up and run. So Cicchini right now trying to see if he can get enough room to get this one off.
Standing about 5 yards back into the end zone. Receives a high snap, recovers it, and will get it to around the 45. And stepping up and fielding this one are the Hillbillies. Hanging on to the football there through contact with Ethan Fry, and they're inside Medina territory. So here's an opportunity for the Hillbillies. They get the stop on defense. Let's see if they can punch one into the end zone here, as they've got great field position at the Medina 25.
Best field position so far in the second half, and pretty much some of the best field position they've really had all day.
Every down, every yard. Hard fought for Fredonia so far today.
So they didn't, coming out of halftime, we didn't see anything go to Lauder, and Lauder still is going to go out right now as a receiver. So they're looking to pass the ball, or what we talked about, something with Whitfield as a keeper.
5 wide for Fredonia. Whitfield in shotgun with Lauder in the slot to the left. Snap to Whitfield. Stands in the pocket. Now will roll to his right. He's got time. Stands, delivers. Pass to Lauder. Falls incomplete. I hate to say it, but that could be where that sweatshirt comes into play that he's wearing to get a better grip when he's holding the football. To catch it, slips off the arms, and that one falls incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd down, so still not a bad play. 2nd down and 10, but what could have been will definitely be in the back of the minds of Greg Sherlock and the Fredonia Hillbillies.
Definitely one of the better pass plays we've seen so far from Fredonia, and it comes off, again, Whitfield running, though, to be able to get himself open for that run. But we'll see what happens right here. I see Lauder back in the backfield right here. See if they're going to try. We haven't seen Lauder even run in the second half yet.
One-on-one coverage up top. The handoff to Lauder. He bounces to the right side. Back there quickly was the Medina D-line. Making the tackle will be number 56 for the Mustangs. That's Josh Wilson. 6'1", 190, the junior tight end and linebacker gets in the backfield quick. Lauder had nowhere to go as he was wrapped up and taken down behind the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 11 now. Empty backfield. 3 to the left, 2 to the right for Whitfield. Line is set. Here's the snap. Whitfield looking left. He is taken down in the backfield. Getting back there are the Mustangs and number 3, Joe Cicchini. You'll love to point out the sportsmanship after the play as well. Cicchini helping Whitfield up off the ground after making a big 3rd down sack. It pushes them out of field goal territory if you were thinking about taking a field goal for Fredonia. They're now sitting at a 4th and long at the 33.
I don't know if you even were thinking it, because it's going to be tough to get any sort of footing or anything to be able to get that one off, even if you were. So you would think this is going to be some sort of deep pass play here by Fredonia.
Not something they're unfamiliar with, as they've got Whitfield, just haven't been able to show off the cannon of the arm today. We haven't seen many deep passes from either side as a flag is tossed, and it'll be a delay of game against Fredonia. They'll back him up even more, 5 more yards.
And here comes that sun. You can see it getting brighter on the field right now. The sun is trying to break through as we speak.
The glare off the turf and off the snow could even play an effect.
And the lights have been on in the stadium the whole time here. But the sun is trying to break through right now. And the wind has even died down too. Take a look at the flag. The wind's almost completely died down.
4th down and 23 for Fredonia. Whitfield in the pocket. Will deliver a strike to the right side, floating. It's intercepted by the Mustangs. Making the play is Lilliaby. Caden Lilliaby makes the play. An overall net loss of yardage on the play as Lilliaby maybe Coach Valley tells him, hey, next time just knock that one down. We get better field position, as now Fredonia turns it over, and it'll be a Medina ball at around their own 10-yard line.
Just like a punt. You know what I mean? The same thing as if they would have punted. You take the shot, right? Because if you get it, fantastic. If not, you pinned them down a little bit longer as if you punted right there. No problem with that play whatsoever. But here we are coming at the end of the 3rd, and it's just been Medina is just, again, doing everything right, especially in the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive. Not that they've gone down and scored every time, but at least what they're doing is just taking time off the clock.
Medina with Skinner in the backfield. Payne will hand it off to Skinner. Left side, he's tripped up at the line of scrimmage, falls for about 2. Medina, no problem handing it off and running the clock, as you say, up 40-6. Just no mistakes at this point if you're the Mustangs. Hang on to the football, stay in bounds, get the clock moving, and Xander Payne is well aware of the situation. The senior quarterback coming off a win of the sectional title last year as they beat Southwestern. That game played at Medina last year. Now they get a chance to show it off at Highmark Stadium, and they've definitely done so. 40-6 so far as we wind down the final minute 3 in the 3rd quarter. Handoff to Skinner in the backfield, finds a hole and is up in the middle of the field. He's finally tackled beyond the 1st down marker around the 25-yard line. 1st down for Medina.
I mean, the first 2 games that we had were both, as we know, both shutout victories, big victories right there by both teams. And we're going to have another, what looks like to be a big victory here from Medina. Boy, we're hoping right now is that we've got 2 good games, or the 3 good games, that we get some better games right here as far as score goes that's out there. Definitely we think at this point, right, that there are going to be 2 more big games that we're going to see ahead of us. And I don't know about you, but I would have never have thought this was going to happen. I really thought we were going to see a game that could come down to the last possession when you talked about it earlier, especially just because of the way these 2 teams are built and the way these 2 teams have played all year, that we really were going to go ahead and see a great game come down to the end. And Medina absolutely, though, has come in with a fantastic game plan and have delivered on that game plan today and used the elements to their advantage.
Shotgun for Xander Payne, takes the snap, hands it off. No, he keeps it himself on the play action, and he's got a man coming across the field in Rim, and he's got the 1st down and then some. Jarin Rim will take this one all the way to the house on the first passing play from Medina on the evening. Touchdown, Mustangs.
And is there a flag?
We've got a flag back
okay,
at
there's
around the
2.
45.
There's 2 flags right there.
This one will probably come back. We would assume a block in the back, as you don't see flags back there on the play like that very often that aren't a block in the back. But how about Medina busting out the play action on 3rd and long? He was wide open, too, coming across the middle of the field.
He really was.
The officials will have a word about it. Fredonia's keeping their defense out there and staying inside Medina territory. Medina recognizes the situation as well. It'll be against Medina on the play. Looks like a block and a back call. We'll mark off the yardage here, but I do believe this should be a Medina first down.
Yeah, it will, because you're talking about 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and that won't get back to the markers right there. So this absolutely should still be a first down.
All the talk about a new stadium for the Bills, be it downtown or in Orchard Park, all the nonsense going on with that. They don't have any plans to build a dome, but if you're Fredonia, if this place had a roof on it, we're probably talking about a much different football game right now. I think if you put these two teams on a neutral field with no elements at all and you just get to play football as you have in the summer and in what was the spring last year into the fall, we might be seeing Fredonia able to throw the ball a lot more. As we know, this quarterback in Nick Whitfield, a senior, you say a fastball pitcher can throw in the upper 80s, hasn't been able to really show off that arm as he can't get the grip on the ball. But that's what happens here in Western New York for high school football, and a flag before the snap.
And they were about to run that play that we've seen Payne go for a touchdown twice, right? The fake pitch and then go over there. We were about to see that play get run right here.
Penalty will be encroachment against Fredonia.
So remember, at the end of the 3rd quarter, we're going to go down quickly, see what Sarah Hollins sees at the sideline right there. Sarah doing a fantastic job battling the elements out there, doing everything from bringing us down to the sideline. She also does the post-game interviews for us, does a fantastic job with that.
Snap, and look at this. The O-line continuing to just move the feet and getting all the yardage, picks up about 15 on the play. Didn't even see who got the handoff on that one. Could have been Xander Payne himself.
It was Payne. Payne kept it, yep.
And they move all the way to the 45-yard line. Boy, we just saw the hefty legs of, who was it, number 63, Roosevelt Mitchell, on that left side, coupled with Zach Oliver in the middle of that O-line, just moving the legs, continuing to push Fredonia back. From the snap of the play, they just kept pushing them.
And it looks like they're going to take this right down to the 3rd quarter right here is what they're going to do.
40-6 our score. Medina running away with this one as the Mustangs are up big on the Hillbillies. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll head down to the field with Sarah Holland. Sarah?
It's Sarah Holland here, and it is the end of the 3rd quarter at Highmark Stadium. The Medina Mustangs lead by a score of 40-6. Xander Payne and Noah Skinner continue to be a threat for this Mustangs team, and they're doing exactly what head coach Eric Valley wants them to do. Fredonia will have to find an answer for these two in the 4th quarter. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Sarah. 40-6 our score. We'll join you for the 4th quarter right after this intermission. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Western New York Athletics.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
I love being home.
We're back from Highmark Stadium, 40-6 the score in favor of Medina as we look to close this one out in the 4th quarter. Medina will have the ball on offense. They're at their own 45-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Thompson in the backfield for Medina. It'll be a pitch to him as he comes to the near side and will find the hole, and tripping him up there will be Micah Davis. If it wasn't for Davis, Thompson was taking that one to the house.
Yep, it was going to be another touchdown if it wasn't for Davis. Absolutely.
Thompson does pick up the first down for Medina. 1st and 10 beyond the midfield stripe, past the 45, at around the 44-yard line. It's 1st and 10 Medina. Run on the play. This is going to be another touchdown for Medina as Thompson will walk this one into the end zone untouched. 47-yard touchdown rush for Craig Thompson, his 2nd on the day. This one's all Mustangs, 46-6 now.
And that one, you could right up the gut, right? When you see you're able to run up the gut like that, we really have underestimated this offensive line and not given it to their real due, right? They really deserve an amazing amount of credit today because you had to come into the cold, win that battle of the trenches, open up those holes, which we said were going to be so important to do. This offensive line has been absolutely incredible for Medina and a big reason why this is going to be a victory for Medina.
They line up for the 2-point conversion. Payne hands it off to Skinner, fights his way, and this one will be a stop for Fredonia on the 2-point conversion. The first non-2-point conversion for Medina on the day has us standing at 46-6. You mentioned the offensive line of Medina. Want to give a shout out to that O-line. From left to right, it's Roosevelt Mitchell standing at 6'4". Then inside of him, Zach Oliver at the center position. Colvin Stalker, the center at 5'10", a senior as well. On the right side, Xavier King, a sophomore. He'll be back for a couple years at Medina. And then at that right tackle spot, it's Chris Johnson, a junior as well. So don't look for Medina to stop running the ball in the next couple of years as well, even though they've got some seniors graduating in Iverson Poole. Haven't seen much of him today, but Xander Payne will be leaving, Jaron Rim will be leaving, Joe Cicchini. So it'll be a different look Medina team next year, but while they've got this team, they may as well enjoy them.
They also said that this year, too, losing one of the top players in Western New York and Brian Fry, but that hasn't stopped him either. So I expect that Coach Valley's going to have a team ready, raring to go no matter what anyway.
Maybe take a look on the sideline. We might get a peek at number 9, Jacob Rizzo, a sophomore running back on the roster. And it looks like their backup quarterback on the roster, Julian Woodworth, is a sophomore as well. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to get a peek of them in the 4th quarter here. I'd love it when the chance comes for younger underclassmen to get a chance to play in a game at the Ralph. Of course, making it is incredible, but then in a blowout like this, you may as well throw out the backups and give them a couple reps on the Highmark Stadium field.
Yep, and you know as well as I do why this has become so important too is it gives you a taste for the future, right? It gives you that excitement right there. It gives you something to look forward to as a younger player wanting to get back there and what you're fighting for and what you're going to be working for in the off season to get you to this point.
1st and 10 for Fredonia. They look to respond with Nick Whitfield. They've got 3 to the left, 1 to the right, and Lauder in the backfield. A loaded box for Medina. No safeties up top. Whitfield stands, fires, and that one's caught by Davis along the left side, trying to break a tackle there and turn the corner. He continues to fight for extra yards and finally will be pushed backwards before the momentum is stopped by the Medina defense. Pick up about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
And there's the theme again that we talk about, the Medina defense. It's 3-4 guys, right, that are right there that are in on the tackle. And it's that team mentality.
Thompson was first on the tackle. Hayden Woodrow then met him there. And then coming all the way across the field was Joe Cicchini. He's not taking any reps off. He's going to fight all the way to the far sideline, get over there and make the play as well. 2nd down, empty backfield. Throw from Whitfield, caught on the far sideline, and picking up the first down will be Ethan Fry. Hillbillies move the sticks for the first time in a while as they get the opportunity to. And along the far sideline, it'll be 1st and 10 for Fredonia beyond midfield.
And the best passes probably we've seen Whitfield be able to throw right now inside this game. As we've talked about it, it looks like he's had trouble gripping the ball right there, but 2 great passes right there from him.
They keep the empty backfield. Whitfield stands in the pocket, delivers a quick pass to the far side, looking again for Fry. They rule it a catch. He was inbounds, gets the foot down, and picks up another 5 or so yards. 10:32 and counting remaining in the fourth quarter. 2 more games from Highmark Field today. We'll have those for you here at westernnewyorkathletics.com on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Also the Monsignor Martin Championship. That one at 6 o'clock between Canisius and St. Francis. You can catch it, you guessed it, at Western New York Athletics. Whitfield in the pocket, stands, fires one far side, looking for McCall, and it'll be incomplete as it sailed out of bounds.
Looked like they tripped up, got the feet tripped up on that one, and he may have needed to stretch that one out right there. See, he's holding his hamstring right there, and it looked like he may have gotten just caught up right there with the feet of the defender.
Hayden Woodrow in coverage on the play for Medina. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5, right at the 42-yard line. If you're Fredonia, don't worry, you've got 12 juniors on this roster, 10 sophomores coming up that'll be back next year. Of course, you lose Nick Whitfield, but behind him you've got Ethan Fry, who you would assume would take over the reins, as this one is complete to the near side of the hash marks as Lauder gets beyond the 35-yard line. 1st down for the Hillbillies.
And Micah Davis is another big name that will be returning for this Fredonia team too.
Brandon Ronsky, another junior on this team. They've got weapons that'll be coming back, so it's not all for naught for Fredonia this year. Of course, you talk about the experience of getting to the Ralph, getting to Highmark Stadium, and playing in this game means so much to a school. It's obviously something to build off of for the future.
And beating a very good Southwestern team twice, right? A very good team having to beat them twice.
Southwestern, who was in the championship last year against Medina. Fredonia, of course, going undefeated this season. This game, there can only be one to come out of it undefeated, both entering 10-0. Looks like Medina will be moving on to the Far West Regional,
which will be held at Williamsville South next week. So they're going to get a chance to be at least not far. It's not going to be a real long trip for them. And Jamestown and Randolph are going to get a chance to play in Jamestown.
How about Jamestown getting a home game?
Yeah.
It's like Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. Get to play the championship in your own stadium. Whitfield delivers a pass to Simon Davis along the near side. He'll continue to churn the legs and get beyond the 20-yard line, inside the 20 at the 18, where he is finally brought down by the Mustang defense and Lilyeby.
That field is going to be rocking, too, down at Jamestown with them playing in there. Now, folks, for those of you who want to be able to watch this at the next level, we'll talk about that in a second. The only way to watch this, though, it will be moving forward, is on the NFHS network. It's the only way to watch it moving forward.
1st and 10 for Fredonia. They're inside the 20. Here is Whitfield Jr. Throws near sideline, looking for his man, Brandon Ronsky. Falls incomplete. It went over his head, out of bounds, 46-6, as we've got the clouds moving above us. Some blue sky peeking through at Orchard Park and Highmark Stadium.
Skinner does a good job of making Whitfield rush that one there a little bit. But, yeah, you'll have to also subscribe to the NFHS network to watch that, so everybody realizes there will be a fee and everything to watch that moving forward.
Whitfield, empty set, 3 to his left, 2 to his right. Medina, no safeties up top. And they'll send the pressure. Whitfield stands in the pocket, tries to look for Davis. That one will fall incomplete behind Simon Davis.
Yeah, we can see it right now, as we talked about earlier, letting everybody know. It was down in the south where it was all dark and it was kind of coming over. Now it's coming from the south, and that's the blue sky we're starting to see that's about to – it's not at the stadium yet, but it's on its way. We can see it, and it should be coming over the stadium shortly.
3rd down and 10 at the 18. They bring Lauder into the backfield. 2 to each side at the line. Whitfield throws near sideline. That one will go way out of play as it was above Simon Davis. It'll bring up 4th down. May as well go for this one if you're Fredonia.
Oh, you're down in that territory, absolutely. And this thing, you're just trying to put points up on the board. Yeah, no doubt about it, you're going to go for this.
Playing for the pride of the Hillbillies at this point.
Moment two, right? To be able to say that you scored, a touchdown in a sectional championship, all those things still come into play. And there's still moments to be had, still a memory to be had. I can't tell you that the interviews that I've done on the field where you can absolutely hear the players say is, this is so real. Like, I'm sitting here looking up and going, this is where, Josh Allen ran in for a touchdown. This is where Thurman Thomas was so big. This is where Jim Kelly was made his moment here in the Bills. It's constant. It's all over the place, right? And it's memories like that you see that you are actually feel like you can be a part of on this field.
And, of course, only a few more years with this stadium standing as they look to build a new stadium in the next coming decade. Those memories will, there's a cap on them. Yep. In the next couple of years, they won't be able to look back and say this is where Thurman Thomas and O.J. Simpson and, former Bills greats played. It's just this team this year, these lucky 12 teams that played this weekend.
And who knows? I don't know if we can get access to the new stadium when that happens, right? True. So, all those stuff come into play as to – memories and different things that happen inside a field like this.
Sun peeks through at Highmark Stadium. The shadows collect on the field. Whitfield has Lauder to his right in the backfield. 2 to each side are the receivers. DB's playing 5 yards off. Whitfield floats one to the end zone. It's tipped and will fall incomplete. Good play from Jaron Rim on the play defensively.
He's hurt.
And they've got an injured Hillbilly.
It looks like it's cramping is what it looks like. They're trying to stretch him out. You see that, how they're all trying to stretch him out?
There you go, and it is Fry.
Yeah. Great. That may have been the best pass I've seen Whitfield throw today. Who had a nice touch on it, and that's the kind of what we expected to see from him today. That unfortunately, like we said, the elements just really came into play on this one. So it'll go to Medina ball, 9:30 left inside this game, and at this point they just want to see this clock trimmed down as much as they can right now.
1st and 10 at the 18, 9.5 to go. Medina most likely will keep this one on the ground, although last drive they went play action on 3rd and long, and a timeout before the snap called by Fredonia.
And you saw they were ready to stack the box there for Fredonia. You see how many guys were in the box on that one? I think there was only one guy not inside the box that they were obviously trying to stop the run right there. But folks, also remember too, when we're done here, we're going to kick over to our post-game show and look out on our Facebook page and our YouTube page and our Twitter page. Sarah Holland will be doing some post-game interviews that we'll put out there on those pages. But when we're done, we'll shift over to our post-game show where Francis and Frank and Tim Chifa and Kyrie Demos are over there doing that show. So that'll be there to finish things off. Then we'll start again as we do the pregame show that's there. Then we'll come and do the game. They'll do the halftime show. We'll do everything that you've seen right now where we'll be kicking it back and forth and get a chance to really hear everything that you can to be able to cover high school sports, and especially the Section 6 football championships.
Xander Payne takes the snap, hands off to the man in the backfield in Thompson, and he's going to bust one free to the near sideline, and there's no one in front of him. Simon Davis coming up behind him, trying to put the burners on, but he won't catch him. Touchdown for Medina. An 81-yard touchdown run for Greg Thompson, and his 3rd touchdown on the day. 52 points scored for Medina now.
not much to say but wow, right? Really, wow is what you got to say is. And offensive line in Medina, I hope your running backs there, man, give you some game balls out there today, because those holes all open up because of the job you guys did today. But, listen, that doesn't take away from the fact that Thompson's got some wheels. And when he breaks it to the outside, he is a tough athlete to catch. Payne showing the same thing. Skinner absolutely doing what he has to do today. It's just been one after another in this Medina team. Unbelievable what they've accomplished today.
Greg Thompson's longest run before today was 37 yards. He busts one for 47 earlier in the contest, and then there an 81-yarder. The two-point conversion is no good for Caden Lilyaby. However, it's 52-6 here with 9:15 remaining in the fourth quarter.
And, the intention when you're running the ball is just to get clock moving, but when you bust it out right there, unfortunately, the clock's going to stop as you get a score right there.
I don't think Eric Valley will complain with the points, though. Another 6 to pad on here, but like you said, the clock's just got to keep going here as we look towards the second and third games here from Highmark Stadium. More sectional championships coming up on Western New York Athletics.
You're going to see a, Western New York Maritime again. More running backs right there. They're going to bring some big running backs. They've got a great special teams player in Addison Copeland that you're going to see right there. See what they can do, and you're going to see Trey Kleitz bring his offense in. He can pass the ball. He's one of the top quarterbacks in Western New York. You're going to see Barry right there run the ball for Iroquois. He's another kid that has really brought that running game up, especially in the second half of the season for Iroquois. It really will be a fun one to watch. But you could say very two different teams as one where the strengths come from the two different teams.
Kickoff fielded by Simon Davis, cuts to the middle, breaks a few tackles, and he's trying to find the hole, and he'll get to midfield where he's then tackled by the most recent touchdown scorer. Thompson gets it done on special teams, and right at midfield, the Hillbillies will take over offensively. 1st and 10. Of course, Western New York Maritime, they're not afraid. They played Canisius earlier in the season.
Yep.
They played some big-time dogs. Bennett as well they played.
And that's where the game, as the season went on, we really learned how good Western New York Maritime is from that game. Just from the fact is there aren't many people that played within 16 points, period. And not only that, gave up only 16 points. That was the best, closest game that we saw as far as points given up by anybody.
Empty backfield here, 1st and 10. Whitfield stands, throws right sideline. That one's caught by Brandon Ronsky, makes a move and is dragged all the way out of bounds. And then a late hit there, no flag. As getting in on the tackle was number 39 for Medina, Brody Fry, the freshman.
And that'll be something very early. You're going to see that Western New York Maritime, their line is bigger than Iroquois' line. And what will be the adjustments Iroquois makes to try to neutralize the size of that line right there? And yes, that's the sun you see. Just what a crazy day it's been.
Whitfield will just toss this one out of bounds, intended for Ronsky on the play. So that Far West Regional at Will South next week will be a 12 o'clock kickoff, same time, new place at Williamsville South. But for the Medina fans watching here, you can catch that on the NFHS network at 12 o'clock as Medina will look to take on the winner of the Section 5 championship. Snap to Whitfield, looks left side. That one way too far in front of Simon Davis. Incomplete, and a late flag after the play. Hayden Woodrow put a hit on Devin McCall on the far sideline. Flag flies there. 8:46 remaining in the fourth quarter. 52-6 is our score.
You would think this is going to be a 15-yard penalty right there unless they pick it up for some reason, but because they are talking this over.
They will call A penalty against Fredonia. Unsportsmanlike, looks like that'll bring it back against the Hillbillies.
It must have been something that we didn't see on that one.
Potentially something said down on the sideline, but the flag was thrown right by the Fredonia sideline, so it gets called against the Hillbillies. That'll back them up inside their own territory. You don't want to see a team lose their composure down big at the stadium. Of course, you want to enjoy all those moments that you talk about that could, turn into memories here at Highmark Stadium, playing on the Bills field. All the weather we encountered today as now the clouds keep rolling above us. 8:46 remaining in the fourth quarter. Third down and long, 3rd and 25 for Whitfield. Eddie throws along the flats to Davis. Cuts up field. It'll take 3 Mustangs, but they'll make the tackle. Cicchini in there immediately. Bloom there as well.
Gets a good chunk of that penalty back at least.
It'll bring up 4th down, 4th and about 15 or so, 4th and 14 on the 48-yard line. Make that the 44-yard line. Lauder steps into the backfield for Fredonia. 2 wide to each side along the right hash. Whitfield surveys the defense, takes the snap, waist high, will step back and throw this one up, looking for Ronsky, but it falls incomplete. Lilliaby in coverage on the play. It's a turnover on downs. It'll bring up 1st and 10 for Medina in their own territory at the 44. 7:50 to go here as the clock is stopped for the change of possession. Medina, hopefully, will put this one on the ground and run that clock down.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to put it on the ground. We've seen that, except for one play today.
That one play almost went for 80 yards and a touchdown had it not been for a penalty to bring it back. Xander Payne still out there at quarterback. He'll line up in shotgun with Skinner behind him. It's the usual suspects for Medina. Handoff will go to Skinner. He'll follow the line up the middle. Pushing bodies there is number 50 in Ollie Wilson, the junior, getting some reps at O-line. It'll bring up 2nd down after a short pickup of about 2. 2nd and 8 at the 45. 7.5 to go. So then we look at the 6:30 matchup, I believe it is, 7 o'clock matchup tonight. Lancaster, Bennett, what can we expect from that one, Tom?
Listen, we know that Bennett's going to do the same thing they want to do, right? Which is run the ball. We'll see right here what Skinner does.
As they run the ball, get 5 yards on it, bring up 3rd down.
I mean, they have got a very big defensive line led by Rashad Perry, which we talk about multiple, which could feasibly be one of the best linemen, period, in Western New York, and only a junior to boot. They need to run the ball, right? Now the question is, does this mess out here, right, neutralize any running game? We don't know yet, right? We haven't seen it neutralize anything from Medina. So the question will be is, does that line do what it needs to do that it's been doing all year?
How about this line movement from Medina as they push Fredonia's defense all the way back beyond the 1st down marker? It'll be a 1st down for Medina on the handoff.
But listen, we talk about one of the top coaching staffs all the time, right? Is going to be sitting at Lancaster. What do? They've obviously see the elements out here. What changes do they make? You'll notice, too, during a game, some of the best in-game adjustments that I ever see by a coaching staff is Lancaster. Let's see what happens, right? Let's see when they get on the field. What's it going to look like? By then, remember, it's going to be dark and colder at the same time, too. So what do the elements have to play inside that game? That's all stuff we need to learn.
Payne hands this one off to Thompson, busting around the left sideline. Puts a move on a man, cuts up field before Azrit makes a tackle. It'll be a pretty decent pickup there for Thompson. 2nd down at around the 35-yard line and 3 to go.
and remember, Bennett does have a win over Lancaster, and I'll tell you, Lancaster doesn't come to the stadium many times as an underdog. I'll tell you that. And early on, that's exactly what you're thinking, is that that they're an underdog here. But I'm going to tell you something. In my book, I'm never going to put them as an underdog. They're going for the 6-time consecutive champions. That's not somebody you ever going to go ahead and take lightly on.
Fumble on the handoff as Skinner will fall on it before Fredonia can jump in there.
And I'll tell you, on the Lancaster side, probably one of the most underrated running backs in Western New York in Micah Harry. And this is a kid who can run the ball and can easily do some fantastic things with his legs, and no doubt is probably one of the underrated running backs in Western New York because of some of the crazy games that we've seen that have been put up for yardage this year by the running backs.
Third down and long, 3rd and 12 here for Medina. Snap, pitch to Thompson. Backfield, he was met there, but not able to trip him up was number 55 for Fredonia, Alex Pollock, as he tried to make the play behind the line of scrimmage. He gets back to around the line of scrimmage where he's met by a host of hillbillies. 4th down and 13.
That play is going to be, that's what I want to look at, what I'm going to look for the next couple of games. Did you see Thompson when he tried to make his cut go upfield? He's kind of like almost lost his footing and had to kind of get it and then go upfield. That's what's going to be what we're going to see come into play. Can guys make cuts? Can they really get the speed that they want to? What does this field do to neutralize any of that? That's going to be the question that we're going to wait to see, especially as it gets further and further on here during the day. We think the weather's done for the day, but, who knows? I've seen that lake bring in things that then people didn't plan on all the time. So,
call me immature, but I didn't look at the weather last night before this game. I woke up seeing a winter wonderland outside my window. I thought I was in a coma. I woke up, I thought it was the middle of December. It's not. It's November. We've got high school football action from Highmark Stadium on Western New York Athletics as the Mustangs are going to head to the Far West Regionals next week. They'll play at noon against the winner of East Rochester, Gananda, and Haverling. That game happening tonight at 7 o'clock. You can check that score out on Twitter. I'm sure there'll be updates posted somewhere out of Section 5.
Yep, it's one that I no doubt that Medina is going to be looking for, and they're going to see if they can find somebody feeding that game right there and see if they can get a live stream of it to see what they can see happening, especially because they'll know, that they'll have won that time and have more than enough time to even get home and get some hot showers because that both these teams can't wait to get warm, I'll tell you that.
I wonder if Eric Valley will jump on the I-90 and try to get out to Rochester for that game.
You never know, I'll tell you. I'll tell you this, though. There better not be any Gatorades or any water baths today. I'll tell you that. You're going to be solidly frozen then.
Handoff to Thompson. He fakes a cut, goes right up the middle. Now he comes near side, and he'll blow by everybody. Touchdown for Medina. Thompson's 4th on the day. His 3rd of this half alone. 58-6, and Medina will line up to go for 2, we would assume, and look to put up 60 here at the Highmark Stadium. An impressive feat. This one will go on the plaques of walls at Medina High School. I'm sure that'll stand for decades and decades. Look back at this one, the memories that'll flood back for these players when they come back 10 years after graduating. They come back for a reunion. They see that sectional championship plaque up on the wall. Look at my face up there. I did that. We put up 58 points and counting here at Highmark Stadium. Talking about the old Highmark Stadium at that point.
New Era Field, or whatever you want to call it, right? The Ralph.
Rich Stadium, I know.
Yep.
Stu Boyer loves to call it. The 2-point conversion's no good, so they don't get 60, but 58 will do if you're Eric Valley and the Mustangs, as it's been all for the blue, red, and white today from Orchard Park. 3:19 remaining in quarter number 4 as we look to wrap things up. We invite you to stay tuned. After this broadcast, we've got the post-game show, interviews coming out on our socials from Sarah Holland. and plenty more action from Highmark Stadium. Only covered on Western New York Athletics, the best here from Orchard Park. We're glad you're joining us today. Thank you for your viewership and your support of these high school athletes as well. It's our pleasure to bring this action to you today. It'll be the designated kicker, Cole Callard, the freshman, to boot this one away. Expect a deep kick here. Ethan Fry does, wearing number 8, standing way back to receive. Get a good look of him there. The kick will come to the near sideline and fly out of play at around the 30-yard line. Flag is down. They'll get the ball in their own territory. Fredonia will.
You can see, too, a bunch of guys that are out there. You know how cold it really is. You could just see them cramping up, holding their hands. You see it out there. And that snow is obviously, when you watch them shovel it, it's that wet snow, that wet, heavy snow to boot right there. So no doubt, like I said, it's having an impact and will have an impact the entire day today.
Well, at least for Fredonia, the back of their heads won't be as cold. They got team mullets coming into today's game.
It's very true. We saw that at media day where, and they were trying to get Coach to do a mullet. They were saying, we're trying to get him to do it. They wanted to see the mullets happen.
So at least Fredonia goes out in style here at Highmark Stadium. Again, those photos, the videos, this broadcast even to be looked at for years to come. Hand off this one to Davis. Tries to fight for yards along the left side of the offensive line. He'll get a couple here. It'll bring up second down as we're inside 3:05 to play.
And take a look down in the south for those of you that obviously can't see it. That dark clouds are starting to come in again. You start to wonder, do we have another round coming our way?
Iroquois and Maritime definitely looking at those clouds rolling in now. Whitfield throws one. No, that's Fry at quarterback now for Fredonia, so they get the youngin in who will presumably take over under center next season for the Hillbillies. He's on the run, tries to make a play for Davis. And we've got a scrum along the near sideline. Officials will chat. And it'll be a turnover. Medina gets the ball. It was floated along the near sideline by Fry looking for his receiver. There were a few receivers in the area. Medina was there. Looks like Thompson could have been in coverage on the play. But Medina's going to send the offense right back out. We'll see if they match by putting out their younger quarterback. But it'll be Xander Payne. If you have to pick an MVP from today's game, Tom, who are you looking at? Obviously, from this Medina squad, you had 3 touchdowns from Xander Payne himself on the ground, 4 for Thompson.
Remember, Thompson did get most of his in the second half. I mean, I looked to Payne was the reason they got off to that lead as your one. I'm going to tell you, too, that offensive line deserves a nice little MVP award themselves. For what they've done. And you saw just by the way they were, those pushes we saw today, just unbelievable stuff that we saw from that line. Really deserves a credit. But I would probably say Payne would be my guy right now. He gets the early touchdowns, helps get that lead, helps get that momentum, helps get everything shift in Medina's favor.
It was a 0-0 score after the first quarter. Who would have thought 58-6 is where we'd be 3 quarters later? We're inside 2 minutes to go here from Highmark Stadium. Medina will wait for the play clock to get all the way down to 1, killing every second off of this one. And Xander Payne will take a knee. We assume he'll do this a few more times. Medina's going to win back-to-back sectional championships here in Class C. This time they get to celebrate where the Bills do as well.
So we will stay here. We've stayed here for all the character athlete of the award ceremonies. We'll stay here for that ceremony, tell you, because it is tough to hear over the loudspeaker who it is. We'll tell you who wins that right there, both awards for both teams. And then from there, we'll cut and send it over to our post-game show right there and let you hear from Francis, Frank, and Tim, and Kyrie, and hear what they have to say about this game. And, of course, then they'll eventually get you ready for the next one.
Payne takes one more knee. They'll wind this one down another 40 seconds. One more snap, and this one will be all but history for the Medina Mustangs. 58-6, they roll over the Fredonia Hillbillies.
Boy, I tell you, you see today, we got 3 teams so far that advanced that really have teams that have the capability of going after state championships. You know, Medina's proven how good they really are. No doubt Randolph is the same way, has done it. And then Jamestown, you knew from the beginning of the year that goal was to go after a state championship.
The final kneel down from Payne will wind this clock down. Your final from Highmark Stadium, 58-6 for the Medina Mustangs. They win back-to-back sectional titles.
Sorry, that was a flag that was there. That's the reason for what's going on right now. They said it was a false start.
We saw a guy in the backfield push the O-lineman forward for Medina, almost joking around, trying to get him to jump offside. They didn't think the flag was going to be thrown. It is. They'll walk off the yardage with 15 seconds left on the game clock. Fourth down. So they can't take a knee here, but they won't even snap the football, as they'll let the clock wind down after the penalty. That'll do it. Medina 58-6 victory, your Section 6 Class C champions.
Hold on, let's do this. You can hear. So you can really hear the crowd right there coming in. So you can see that Medina faithful out there doing their thing.
We'll keep you here for the handshakes. Of course, the Sportsmanship Award presented by Cross Training Athletics and Perry's Ice Cream. And then the presentation of the Section 6 Class C Championship plaque. Xander Payne had the first 2 scores of the day on 2 touchdown rushes, capped off by 2-point conversions from Skinner and Thompson, respectively. That had Medina up 16-0 early in the second quarter after a scoreless first. Then it was Thompson on a touchdown rush, and then Payne rounding out the middle section of the second quarter as Medina had an absolute explosion. 4 touchdowns in the first 10 minutes of the second quarter. Thompson, Payne gets his 3rd touchdown on the day, and then Whitfield got the only touchdown that Fredonia would have on the day, making it 32-6 as we headed into halftime. And then it was all Mustangs as Skinner and Thompson rounded out the scoring for Medina. Thompson, 3 straight touchdowns to walk this one off. Do you call that a natural hat trick for Thompson?
I mean, it was just, it really was something to watch. This Medina team, you knew after their win last year and everything that happened with the whole COVID thing, not getting a chance to win that title here, this group their goal was to get here and do exactly this. And give them a lot of credit. It's one thing to say it's your goal. It's another thing to make it happen. And this team actually made it happen, and give them tons of credit. This Fredonia team, though, man, what an amazing season they've had. Nothing to hang their heads down on. It was unfortunately bad weather that didn't let them play the game they wanted to play. But there is a lot of reasons for this Fredonia team to have their heads up, and they absolutely made an entire community proud in Fredonia.
12 juniors returning, 10 sophomores for Fredonia next season. As it's not all a loss as you make it to the sectional championship, go 10-1 on a season, an incredible season for Fredonia. Medina stays undefeated, 11-0. They look to take on the winner of East Rochester, Gananda, and Haverling next week, Saturday at noon.
So there's your first one right there. It looks like number 70 for Fredonia.
That'll be Owen Rush, the punter, O-lineman and D-lineman, sophomore getting that one. And Noah Skinner gets the other one.
Like I always said, that workhorse, that he just does it the right way. Everything. Love this kid. I'm telling you, really does. I can't give enough adjectives from him. He is that unsung hero of that team.
Noah Skinner, 1 touchdown on the day. It went for 44 yards. He had 4 two-point conversions. We'll wrap up here from Highmark Stadium. We thank you for joining us here in the broadcast booth. For Jack Cruiser and Tom Prince, we thank you for watching Western New York Athletics. We'll send you now to our post-game show with Francis Beck in the press box.
All right. Welcome back to the press box at Highmark Stadium for the Howard Hanna post-game show. Medina Mustangs defeat Fredonia 58-6 to win the Class C sectional title. Guys, we talked about it before the game. Weather would be a factor. It was. I think the craziest part of it, though, was Medina's leading rusher was their quarterback, who only had 158 rushing yards coming into the game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Big shout out to Coach Eric Valley and what his staff has been able to put together over the last 2 seasons, dating back to the springtime. Doubling up on sectional titles now, and I think with this Medina roster, the weather really played into their strengths as a team. They've been a pretty strong defensive team all season, but offensively, running the ball the way that they did, I really want to give a shout out to Greg Thompson. I mean, that kid, he was a kid that I thought coming in could play an X factor, out of the backfield and in the receiving game, but he really just had to do it in the running game today because the Mustangs were really just mowing things down up front.
Yeah, and we don't have the official rushing yards yet.
I think we're going to get them in just a few moments. We'll have
great, but anytime that you have this kind of craziness in the running game, you got to give it up to the offensive line. They're not going to get their names in the papers and things like that. But when you have to change a game plan from what you did basically all season, going 5 wide, run and shoot, greatest show on turf type of game, because of the literally snowstorm that happened about 5 minutes before the game started, it seemed like to adapt and just put the running game on your back and really just beat up an undefeated team.
a battle-tested
team, and it was never close after, right from the get-go. It was never close.
Yeah.
And Fredonia is, 58 points. They probably left a touchdown on the board because we talked earlier in the game. There was that fumble at the 1-yard line.
First drive of the game. And, talking about the offensive line, going into the post-game locker room for Medina, I'm sure Coach Valley would love to see this and share this with his offensive line. Greg Thompson, 10 carries, 262 yards. Xander Payne, 19 carries, 192 yards. Noah Skinner, 15 carries, 115 yards. I mean, you just churned up over 400 yards on one of the top defenses, one of the top teams in this region, let alone the state. I mean, that's a tremendous effort for those guys up front.
Guys, I'll tell you this. We've been following that Medina team the last 2 seasons now. The spring season, we thought they got robbed of a stadium, getting to the stadium, with Brian Fry and everything else. And, they just answer back. They never, wore that on their sleeve. They were never like, oh, we got robbed and like that. They just went out and played football. Mm-hmm. And it's a testament to that coaching staff and those kids. There's no secret. I'm pretty close to the guys on Fredonia. I spend a lot of time down there in that area. Love those kids and that coaching staff too.
You have cousins down there, right? One of your 30 cousins are down there.
Yeah. So, it's gonna suck, right? That bus ride home, no question about it. You work your tail off to get here. Mm-hmm. You don't want to leave like this. So you got to feel for those kids a little bit. There's teams out there that play and they just dream of coming here. Mm-hmm. But both of these teams had their eyes set on state titles.
Right.
So that dream ends for Fredonia here. Yeah, it's nice that they got here, but this group was good enough to maybe make a deeper run, just like Medina. So my hat's off to the Mustangs. They out outperformed Fredonia in every category today.
No doubt.
Shout out to them. So Medina will have to wait. There's a 7 p.m. Game tonight in Section 5 between ER Gananda, two schools combined to play there, and they're playing a team called Haverling. That's at 7 p.m. on YouTube. It's being broadcasted on Varsity Media's channel. So just go to YouTube and search out Varsity Media, and you should be able to find that game. Or you could go to Section 5 Athletics, find them on Twitter. And so if you're a Medina fan and you want to know who you're playing next week and do some scouting, that's the game you're going to want to watch. I will say this also real quick. Frewsburg, an 8-man team, our only 8-man team in Section 6. They did lose today out in Section 5. They lost to Red Jacket 48-6. So that was a 1-2 game there, and the 2 team prevailed. So Frewsburg's, their playoff run is done. But again, like I said, Fredonia is a close-knit community, just like Medina. This, I think, Tim, you said earlier, this is how you get to close to old school, high school community football, where everyone shuts down to go see your team play on a Friday night. So these communities, this is why we do this. We love going to Medina and doing games. We love going to Fredonia and covering their games when we can. We can't live stream from Fredonia, but we can go down there and watch and enjoy those games. So we'll catch them on the road to like a Salamanca or Southwestern or whatever. But hats off to the Fredonia Hillbillies. They had a great season. No reason to hang your heads. You were 10-0 heading into the stadium today. The better team won. At the end of the day, the better team won.
No doubt.
Yeah, Tim, actually, before we get back to Medina, I want to ask another part on Fredonia. Nick Whitfield, we know he's a great quarterback. He's certainly getting some looks to play at the next level. He had that one rushing touchdown. What was, you think, the most challenging part for him that you think he faced? Because he's used to throwing the ball around. He couldn't really do that here. What did you notice from his game? Maybe what he struggled with?
Yeah, well, I mean, the obvious answer would be the weather. I mean, that's the easiest and obvious answer. But there's a few other factors. One, you got down early in this weather, so you were kind of limited. I think what Nick saw a lot, if you watch in the first half, is it was Nick run to the right, Nick run to the left. I think he saw some openings that I think Medina disguised a bit, making it seem like he had some holes, and then the linebackers collapsed on him, right away. So hats off to Medina that way. But he also had a lot of drop balls. I mean, he had some fantastic passes, really, really next level type passes that the receivers had trouble holding on to today. And I think that's, the wet ball factor. I can't stress enough. It was tough down there. It was, me and Frank laughed. It was like playing Fumbly Wumbly when we were kids. It was nuts down there. And, if it looks like the sun comes out, a little bit now, and hopefully get some better weather for the next 2 games. But, for a quarterback, especially, it was a tough task. And you played against a Medina team that was very, very well prepared for this game. I mean, well coached, and Medina is becoming one of those football factories in Western New York.
Yeah, it really has. I'm glad you brought that up. There's so many points that you made that I'd like to go off of, Tim. First, the drop balls. I can think of one pass in the second half on a rollout that Whitfield found Lauder, but he just let it slip through his hands, found him right in the red zone. But, unfortunate to see, one of the top players in the area go out like that. But, you mentioned Medina's become a football factory, and it's crazy to think that in such a short span, because I can think back even to 2019, that was a team that had its ups and downs. I remember the Wilson team in their division being even that much more dominant. So to think what they've put together in that span. But just talking about Nick Whitfield again, I think with him, another thing too, talking about how the game script kind of gets thrown out when you're down so much early, then a defense gets to pin its ears back. Then a defense gets to apply pressure. You saw some of the pressure that the Fredonia offensive line gave up. So, I think when you're working in a more hurry up, working from behind 2-minute drill type scenario like the Hillbillies were, I think that those are the type of results that you can get with that.
I'd like to make a good point because we're going to get to Tim. I know you saw the Character Athlete Award. Tim's going to, in a second, mention them again, but I want to bring up a point or a play in the second half. There was a pass by Whitfield to the corner of the end zone on the far side and the Medina side. Fredonia player went down, a receiver couldn't really see from that end.
Right.
And they were the two for Medina players, which totally escaped me right now. I'm so mad about it, but great sportsmanship. They immediately saw the player was hurt and signaled to that Fredonia sideline to get some help to him. So great. I forget. I don't know if you guys remember who that was. Yeah, I totally forgot. But you, Tim, from cross training, why don't you tell us who were the character athletes of the game?
Yeah, and you mentioned that, Francis, and I've had I have the privilege of doing, being a part of the character award for the last 10 years or so, and every so often you get to do a game where you can literally give the award to about 10 to 12 different players, and that just shows from the leadership down, from the coaching staff to the seniors to the captains, how good a team is. And not that Fredonia wasn't that way, but Medina kind of stood out that way a little bit today, the way they acted in victory. The two winners today, from Fredonia, number 70, Owen Rush. He's a offensive defensive lineman. And then for Medina, number 42, Noah Skinner, who also had a fantastic game rushing the ball also. But just so people know what the character award is, it's not an MVP award, which some people think it is. It's how these players conduct themselves on the field, how they treat their teammates, how they treat the referees, how they treat their opponents. It's not just, a quick watch of the game. They talk to the coaches before the game. They talk to the refs during the game. So they really do, look into the players, and it especially for someone like Owen Rush. I know that, it might be rough to win an award when you lost that game, but in a couple of weeks from now, he's going to appreciate an award like that, because it shows a lot about your character when you can win an award like this.
Absolutely.
All right, so next week, Medina moves on to the Class C Far West Regionals. It'll be next week. I believe it'll be Saturday at Williamsville South. I think it'll be the same time, although we haven't confirmed that, against the winner from Section 5s. So Medina wins their second straight title. But we're just really getting started. We're going to wrap things up right now, but we're just really getting started with our coverage. Game 1 of 3 today here at Highmark Stadium. We'll be back maybe in about 10-15 minutes or so for pregame coverage of that Class B game between Maritime and, oh boy, it's still been a long day. Maritime and Iroquois. Yeah, it's already been a long day. So we'll have that, certainly looking for a great game. So from Highmark Stadium, for Frank Wolf, Tim Chifa, Kyrie Demos, I'm Francis Beck. You're watching Western New York Athletics coverage of the Section 6 Football Championships.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com. Ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.